and 900 AM WURD Philadelphia.
Streaming live at WURDradio.com and on the WURD Radio app.
The views and opinions expressed by the guests, listeners, and hosts of any program on WURD Radio do not necessarily reflect those of ownership, management, or advertisers of this station.
Get up on out the bed, start to move your balls and seek up the word in Solomon Jones. Word.
You better wake up now.
You're here because you know something. What you know you can't explain, but you feel it. You felt it your entire life. That there's something wrong with the world. You don't know what it is, but it's there. You can feel it.
Get up on out the bed, start to move your balls and seek up the word in Solomon Jones.
You better wake up now.
Good morning. This is Solomon Jones on 900 AM, 96.1 FM, WURD. I want to welcome you to another edition of Wake Up with Word. First, congratulations are in order for Tumar Alexander. He's been named the city's managing director. He was previously serving in the role on an interim basis. It's good to see the brother get the job, and we hope that he will do well in that capacity. Of course, tonight is going to be a big political night nationally, too, as Joe Biden and Donald Trump square off in their final debate before the election. We'll be watching closely to see what happens with a mute button in place, to see if Kristen Welker can actually keep the debate from disintegrating into chaos, and to see if we can hear the candidates talk about the things we need to hear about, things like policy, things like justice, things like all of us. I, for one, don't want to hear anything about Hunter Biden getting a job in Ukraine back in the day. I want to hear that black people will no longer be shot by the police. I want to hear that the Justice Department will prosecute white supremacists as domestic terrorists. I want to hear about the federal government putting money behind black education, black home ownership, and black business. I want to hear about hope. Because for me, winning the presidency is about winning the battle of ideas. It should never be about who can talk the loudest. We got a hot show for you today on Wake Up with Word. On the heels of President Obama's visit to Philadelphia to stump for Joe Biden, we'll talk with former White House photographer Pete Souza about the fabulous documentary, The Way I See It. Plus, political commentator Jay McCalla breaks down what's happening this week in politics. And as always, we've got you, our listeners, calling in at 215-634-8065, a toll-free 1-866-361-0900. Hit us on Twitter and Instagram at onWURD, or you can hit me personally at Solomon Jones 1. Watch us on Facebook at Forward. But first, it's the big three, the news stories you need to know to kick off your day right here on Wake Up with Word. Story number one, the fight for black lives is international in scope, and sometimes it's a fight against oppressors who look like us. Hundreds of young Nigerians gathered in Lagos this week to continue protesting against police violence in the country. The Nigerian military threatened last week to take action against, quote, troublemakers at protests, but organizers believe that if they demonstrated non-violently, they could avoid being attacked. Well, that turns out not to be true. One video showed an organizer advising protesters to sit down as uniformed men with guns approached the crowd in Lekki, a suburb of Lagos, the country's largest city. On Tuesday, just after 7, as the uniformed men surrounded the crowd, the street lights suddenly went dark and gunfire erupted, followed by screams. We don't know how many people are dead from that attack by authorities in Nigeria, but we do know that that some people died. We do know that some people were injured. We do know there is video taken at that protest. And I just need y'all to understand that sometimes I know in America we are used to defining oppression by skin color, right? But sometimes your oppressor look just like you. Sometimes your oppressor might be somebody, you know, in a place like Nigeria, you know, there's tribalism, right? There are people who come from different ethnic groups or tribes. There are people who, doesn't matter what tribe or ethnic group they are from, they are in power, and so they oppress those who are not. There is corruption. There is all kinds of stuff that is not always defined just by skin color. Sometimes it's defined by who is in power and whether or not they are willing to oppress those who are not. That's just the truth. And so we are praying for the folks in Nigeria, because this is not something that that is based on race. This is based on power and oppression, and we will be watching it very, very closely. Story number 2, Purdue Pharma, the maker of OxyContin, has agreed to plead guilty to 3 federal criminal charges for its role in creating the nation's opioid crisis, and will pay more than $8 billion to close down the company. The money will go to opioid treatment and abatement programs. The privately held company has agreed to pay $3.5 billion fine, a $3.5 billion fine, as well as forfeit an additional $2 billion in past profits, in addition to the $2.8 billion it agreed to pay in civil liability. Problem is, the company's kind of falling apart because they have been sued over and over and over again. They don't have $8 billion in cash available to pay the fines, so the company's going to be dissolved as part of the settlement, and its assets going to be used to create a new public benefit company. I'm looking at this, man, and it's nonsense. You know why? Because ain't nobody going to jail. How you plead guilty to criminal charges connected to all of these people dying from these overdoses, and ain't nobody going to jail? Come on, man. Come on, man. This is what I'm talking about. Justice it has to be equal, right? It can't depend on whether you're rich, whether you own a company, whether you're a scientist, whether you're white. Like, nah, justice, real justice is equal no matter what you look like, where you come from, how much money you have, what company you own. Like, nah, that's nonsense. So they pleaded guilty to criminal. Ain't nobody going to jail. You know what I'm saying? Come on, man. Come on, man. And you know how I feel about the opioid crisis. I am very sorry that people have died from these overdoses. I really am. But I also think that in the same way that they went after companies and other folks with what happened with opioids, when they figured out that most of the people who were dying from these overdoses were white, right? The same way they handled that is the same way they need to handle the crack crisis. I remember testifying before city council, and there was a certain city councilwoman who was a little snarky, as if, only doctors understand what's going on with this. Solomon, we appreciate your opinion, but yeah, I remember that. I remember you did that, and we're going to deal with that. But, the thing is this, right? It is not just about whether the doctors, believe that you should just give people heroin, right? And just allow them to just do it, and maybe eventually they'll get better. No, there really has to be a plan for how these people recover from their addictions, but there also has to be restitution for what was done to the black community, right? The same way y'all making these people pay $8 billion, right? Because the opioid crisis is now something that is real in the white community and can't be hidden anymore. The same way you made them pay $8 billion, somebody need to be paying $8 billion to us for all that was done to us during the crack era in our community. Property taken, cash taken, cars taken, people taken, mass incarceration. No, y'all owe us some money too. So, the fact that, you got this company talking about they going to pay $8 billion, and wait for it, here it is, they still going to be making OxyContin. How does that help anybody? Come on, man, it's silly. It is absolutely silly, which brings me to story number 3. The President of the United States was here yesterday. We've got some sound from what he said yesterday. I'm sorry, he's always going to be the president to me. Barack Obama was here yesterday, and he talked about some of what happened with your current president, Donald Trump. Hopefully we can play that clip. Let's take a listen to what Barack Obama had to say.
We know that he continues to do business with China because he's got a secret Chinese bank account. How is that possible? How is that possible? A secret Chinese bank account. Listen, can you imagine if I had a secret Chinese bank account when I was running for re-election? You think Fox News might have been a little concerned about that? They would have called me Beijing Barry. It is not a great idea to have a president who owes a bunch of money to people overseas.
And there it is. There is President Barack Obama. One of many things he said yesterday concerning Donald Trump. It's just it is kind of unbelievable that we now have a president who, as Barack Obama alluded to yesterday, you gotta hear about him every day. You gotta hear about the crazy things he says every day. You got to see him tweeting, retweeting, and tweeting crazy stuff every day. The Navy SEALs didn't kill Osama bin Laden. This is what the president is retweeting. You know, I want to find that clip as well. We're going to play that a little bit later on because it's like, dude, like, what in the world? What in the world? And, you know, when you see Barack Obama and when you hear him, you know, you remember what it was like to have a country that was normal. And so that's the question I want to ask you this morning as we prepare to watch another debate tonight, which I'm sure is going to be insane. You know, I want to know what you miss most about the Obama era. What do you remember about the Obama era, and what do you miss most about it? Doesn't have to be political, doesn't have to have anything to do with the president, doesn't have to have anything to do with Biden, anything. But what do you miss about that era? What has happened in the last 4 years that has just changed so much that you miss what happened during the Obama era? What do you miss most about that era? I want to hear from you. 215-634-8065. That is 215-634-8065. That is the number that you can call to get in on the conversation right here at WURD Radio. Also want to know this. I've been trying to figure out how to talk about this without it being like, you know, vulgar. But we got to talk about it. And you know, I spent the last couple of days like, should not. Jeffrey Toobin. All right. I've said it. So Jeffrey Toobin was on a Zoom call and exposed himself, right? And he claimed it was an accident. He thought the Zoom was on mute. He didn't know that people could see him, etc. Now, this is a guy who's a commentator on CNN, writes for the New Yorker. He's been suspended, you know, right now because he did that. And so my question to you is this. What are some things you should never do on Zoom? I want to hear from you. Give me a call, 215-634-8065. That is 215-634-8065. That is the number that you can call to get in on the conversation right here at WURD Radio. Let us know where you are on these various things we're talking about on this morning show. What do you miss most about the Obama era? 4 years, man. And it seemed like the world has just completely turned upside down. The world is completely changed from what it was just 4 years ago. I want to hear from you. Give me a call, 215-634-8065. That is 215-634-8065. And we got to talk about it. We got to talk about Jeffrey Toobin. He exposed himself on Zoom. He said he thought it was on mute. He thought the camera was off. He thought nobody could see him. Well, everybody saw you. And the question is, what are some things you should never do on Zoom? I want to hear from you. Give me a call, 215-634-8065. That is 215-634-8065. That is the number that you can call to get in on the conversation right here at WURD Radio. You can, of course, also weigh in on Facebook at FORWURD. That's FORWURD, FORWURD. Let us know where you are in these various things we're talking about on this morning's show. FORWURD. That is how you can weigh in on Facebook this morning on WURD. So we're talking about the debate also. That's going to be taking place this evening. Now, there's going to be a mute button for the first time, right? And that mute button is going to be employed each time the candidate makes his opening statement on one of 6 topics this evening, right? So they'll have 2 minutes uninterrupted with the other person's mic off. Then after that, it goes to open debate, and I think that's probably where it's going to go crazy. But I want to hear from you. Give me a call, 215-634-8065. That is 215-634-8065. That is the number that you can call to get in on the conversation right here at WURD Radio. Were you there yesterday when Obama came to Philadelphia? Did you drive down to Lincoln Financial Field and check him out? We want to hear from you if that is the case as well. But we also got to talk about what's happening in Nigeria because it looks a lot like what's happening here in the United States. And you know, I think one of the things that we have to realize is that oppression isn't always based just on race. Sometimes it's based on who's in power. And guess what? Sometimes they can look just like you and can be oppressive, right? And can be corrupt and can be sneaky, right? As we've seen here in the city of Philadelphia with city council trying to put make the changes that they made to the tax abatement. They trying to change it back in the middle of a pandemic, a few days before a presidential election. And so, you know, we have to watch all of that. I want to hear from you. Give me a call, 215-634-8065. That is 215-634-8065. That is the number that you can call to get back in on the conversation right here at WURD. I asked, what do you miss most about the Obama era? Sandra Fields says on Facebook, articulate speeches that focus on the issues affecting regular citizens, right? So, yeah, we missed that. Linda Pierce says she misses security. Steph Michelle says, I miss his eloquent speeches and his swag. So that is some of what folks had to say this morning on Facebook about what they missed about the Obama era. We're going to go to break. On the other side, we're going to continue the conversation right here on WURD.
Now, a word weather update. Here's NBC 10 First Alert meteorologist Bill Henley.
Thick fog this morning, sunshine this afternoon. Will warm to 74 degrees today, and the mild weather continues for Friday with a high of 72 and Saturday up to 73, but it turns much chillier with highs in the 50s on Sunday. Get the First Alert forecast anytime. Download the free NBC 10 app.
Now, a traffic update
on WURD Radio.
Good morning. This report sponsored by Audible. Southbound 95 pretty jammed. Cottman down through Bridge through construction. Jammed again from Betsy Ross down through Girard. Northbound 95. Watch for slowing through a work zone. Broad Street through the Walt Whitman Bridge. It's a new traffic pattern through that construction area. Westbound Vine heavy 8th Street out through the Schuylkill Expressway. Schuylkill westbound at a jam from Bear through 30th through construction. Busy again. City out through Conshohocken eastbound side. You're going to find that a jam from City Avenue now in through Girard because of an accident. East of that, no other problems. 55 northbound jamming Deptford into 42. Audible now gives you more than ever before with a premium selection of bestsellers and new releases, plus thousands of included audiobooks, podcast originals, and more to listen to all you want. The new Audible is your playlist for life. Download the Audible app to get started. For more traffic information, log on to SigAlert.com. Jim Bachman with your Philadelphia area traffic.
The time is now to put an end to the chronic incompetence of Donald Trump and his League of Liars. Donald Trump makes a mockery of the institution of the presidency. He's polarized our country, and his dangerous policies must not continue. Joe Biden has the character, empathy, and experience to lead us through these challenging times. He helped lead the nation out of the 2008 financial crisis into the longest period of economic growth in our history, and he can do it again. As president, he will heal divisions and unite us around the shared values of justice. He'll create opportunities for quality education and good-paying jobs, and he'll build on the Affordable Care Act, not tear it down. While Donald Trump thinks coronavirus and climate change are a hoax, Joe Biden already has a coronavirus recovery plan and a strategy to create more jobs while also tackling the climate crisis. Vote for a president who will stand on the right side of history. Vote for Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. Paid for by Black PAC and Priorities USA Action. BlackPAC.com and PrioritiesUSAAction.org, which are responsible for the content of this advertising. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee.
COVID-19 impacted a lot of things this year, including regular vaccination appointments. Vaccines help protect you and everyone around you, especially during flu season. Schedule an appointment with your healthcare provider today to make sure you and your children are vaccinated. Vaccines keep us safe, and they work. Skip the flu this year. Get your vaccination today. Let's stay protected together. For more information, visit health.pa.gov. Paid for with Pennsylvania taxpayer dollars.
4 years ago, Donald Trump asked Black America a simple question. Asked us, what do you have to lose?
What do you have to lose?
Since then, we've seen a rise in racial violence and white supremacy, an increase in poverty.
You're living in poverty. Your schools are no good. You have no jobs.
While giving tax cuts to the rich. 200,000 dead from COVID, 1 in 5 are Black. We've lost our jobs, our businesses, our dignity, and even our lives. And he, Trump, dares to ask, what the hell do you have to lose?
What the hell do you have to lose?
Well, Mr. President, damn near everything. After 4 years of Trump, ask yourself, Black America, are you better off? Vote for change.
I'm Joe Biden, candidate for president, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Biden for president.
Hello, my name is Hassan Bennett. I did 13 years in prison for a crime I didn't commit. Over-policing in our community has led to over 100 casualties like mine. It's time we, the people, take control of our future. And we do this on November 3rd by voting to make communities safer and the system fairer.
Paid for by Black Vote PA, which is responsible for the content of this advertising. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. www.theelectionisnow.com.
It's Wake Up with Word, hosted by Solomon Jones.
Good morning.
Right now on Word Radio.
96.1 FM.
And 900 AM WURD.
Good morning. This is Solomon Jones on 900 AM, 96.1 FM, WURD. I want to welcome you back to Wake Up with Word. We're taking your calls at 215-634-8065. That is 215-634-8065. That is the number that you can call to get in on the conversation right here at WURD Radio and let us know where you are on these various things we're talking about on this morning's show, 215-634-8065. What do you miss most about the Obama era? It doesn't have to be Obama himself. Doesn't have to be anything political. But 4 years ago, this country was so different than it is now. Have you thought about how different it actually is? And what do you miss most about that era? Give me a call, 215-634-8065. That is 215-634-8065. That is the number that you can call to get in on the conversation right here at WURD Radio. Also, it's an uncomfortable subject, but I got to talk about it. Jeffrey Toobin exposed himself on Zoom. He's a CNN commentator, writer for The New Yorker. He's been suspended by The New Yorker. We haven't seen him on CNN since that happened. He said it was an accident. What are some things you should never do on Zoom? I want to hear from you. 215-634-8065. That is 215-634-8065. That is the number that you can call to get in on the conversation right here at WURD Radio. Let us know where you are on any of these things we are talking about on this morning show. Anthony from Delaware is on line one. Go ahead.
Good morning, Solomon.
Good morning.
Solomon, you asked yesterday, what was y'all talking about last week? Some subjects drive themselves. You don't need to do nothing. It's low-hanging fruit. You know what I'm saying? So last week, somebody was talking about the Million Man March that happened 30 years ago and how's that affecting you today. I'm like, really? You know? And then after you, it's somebody that loves city council, loves them. All day, they'll have them on the show all the time, right? He didn't talk about nothing like that. You got to get up out of your sick bed, and we got to find out through you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but I support my colleagues, man. And you know, I've told you that. I support my colleagues. I mean, we all are different, right? I know what I got to do, and, you know, they certainly know what they got to do, and they do it, and I respect their work, and I'm going to respect their work. So I appreciate the sentiment, but, you know, I'm always going to support my colleagues, man.
Yeah, you know, you got to I'm just saying that we need information. It seems like you're the only one that really brings the juice. You know, the other people talking about nonsense. You know, nonsense affects nobody. That was a deadly subject yesterday. That should be pounded and pounded and pounded.
All right, Anthony. Thanks for your call. We appreciate your call this morning on WURD. And again, I'm always going to support my colleagues, man. One of the things I've learned over the course of my long career, right? As a journalist, as a writer, I've worked in city government. I've worked, you know, for the federal government. You know, so one of the many things I've learned is that it is never productive for a team of people who work together to turn on each other. That's never a productive thing. We can do things differently. We can have different styles. We can have different focuses, but it's never productive to do that. I've had people do that to me. You know what I mean? Colleagues who, you know, would actually go on the air, right, and say negative things about me. And it's like, you know, that's never productive. And I learn not only from my own experience, but from what other people do and what works and what doesn't. I'm always going to support my colleagues in what they do and try to encourage them and hope that they will do the same for me. I want to hear from you. Give me a call, 215-634-8065. That is 215-634-8065. Valerie from Southwest is on line 2. Go ahead, Valerie.
God bless. What I miss most about Obama's is him and Michelle, and I lost my mother during that time, and my mother said, "Oh my God, I never thought I'd see a black president." And my mother actually cried, and she was just happy, and she loved that man like it was her own son. So don't forget to vote. That's all I got to say.
All right. I want to thank you so much for your call this morning on WURD Radio. Give us a call, 215-634-8065. That is 215-634-8065. That is the number that you can call to get in on the conversation right here at WURD Radio. Let us know where you are in these various things we are talking about on this morning show. What do you miss most about the Obama era? We watched him yesterday, and shout out to our colleague, Sincerely Sarita, who apparently spoke at that rally yesterday. Of course, she's got a new show that comes on evenings on WURD, so we appreciate her as well. Let's see. Amir Ali said, don't try to help your child with math on Zoom. So that is one of the things that he said we shouldn't do on Zoom. Let's see. All right. So I want to hear from you. If you want to get in, you can certainly do that on Facebook at FORWURD. That's FORWURD, FORWURD. and let us know where you are in these various things we're talking about on this morning show. Constance from Germantown is on line one. Go ahead, Constance.
Yes, Solomon, what I miss mainly is the calm, the not having anxiety, to know that they were intelligent people that did their job. No tweeting. No, they did their job.
I know.
Wasn't crazy. Can I comment real quick on the guy about the Million Man March?
Yes.
I think that he missed what Nick was trying to do. The killings in Philadelphia, what he was trying to say is that the Million Man March, if they did it then, if they could stop murdering each other then, with the Million Man March and what happened during that time, that's why it was brought up. If they could do it then, they can do it now.
All right.
It was about
I want to thank you.
In Philadelphia. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much for your comment this morning on WURD Radio. And if you want to weigh in, you could certainly do that on Facebook at FORWURD. That's FORWURD, FORWURD. I asked what folk miss about the Obama era, right? Country has changed so much. The country has changed so much in the last 4 years that, it's just a lot, man. And I know for me, I think the thing I miss about the Obama era is knowing that there's somebody sane in the White House, right? Knowing that there's somebody who's going to look out for the best interests of the American people. Over the last 4 years, I've come to understand that you got a president who's not looking out for anybody but himself. He's not even looking out for his followers. He's talking about, I'm having these huge rallies. Dude, it's COVID going around out here, man. People are dying. 220,000 people dead from this disease that can spread through the air, right? Through droplets. And you got people in a crowd with no masks on. You don't care about your own followers. I miss having a president who actually cared about the people. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is absolutely crazy, man. I've never seen anything like it. I've never seen anything this irresponsible and crazy in my life, and people following it. And, I guess the thing I've learned about human nature with this is that people like crazy. People like it. It's like a show. I'm going to follow the show. I want to be part of the show. You know what I mean? That and racism is a heck of a drug. 215-634-8065. That is 215-634-8065. So the other thing that we're talking about is things you should never do on Zoom. As we know, Jeffrey Toobin exposed himself on Zoom, which is crazy. And so I want to know things you should never do on Zoom. 215-634-8065. That is 215-634-8065. Steph Michelle says this: the night President Obama won, I was getting off work at 3 a.m., and that night I never felt that safe before. I felt invincible. That's so powerful. I remember, man, I was when Obama won, I was watching returns with our cousin Dana, and shout out to him, shout out Dana, to you. We watched the returns together, and it was like, it was unbelievable. It was an unbelievable victory for anyone who ever felt like their dreams were impossible, right? You felt like anything was possible when you saw him win. And I think that was the most impactful thing about his presidency, just him being there, him getting to the top spot in the world, right? And then occupying that spot with dignity. seeing him win. I think Steph is right. It's something that you just never thought it could happen, and in seeing it happen, we knew that anything was possible. And then to have that followed by this, right? It's like, yo, are you serious? But yes, America is absolutely serious. And the rest of the world is looking at us like, what in the world is wrong with y'all? Deborah Dorn Carter says this: I remember feeling safe with President Obama. I could go to sleep and not be worried. You can't now. With 45, we have to be on our P's and Q's. Amira Ali says this. That was for Americans. What he do for us? You can't say you can't expect politicians to save black people. Give them that stimulus check back then. I don't know what you're talking about. But I think Amira's of the mindset that Obama did nothing for black people. It always amuses me when I hear that. It amuses me, but then it worries me as well, because who you think didn't have health insurance, man? Huh? You think it was white people? I mean, there's a lot of white people didn't have health insurance, but anything that is a benefit in America, right, it is always the case that black people disproportionately don't have it. Right? Black people disproportionately don't have wealth. Black people disproportionately, are unemployed. Black people disproportionately are caught up in the criminal justice system. Anything negative, it affects us worse. That's why when COVID happened, black people were disproportionately affected. Right? Because at any time America has a cold, then black folk get the flu. Because we are disproportionately affected by negative things that happen in America. So when he put the Affordable Care Act in place, black folk didn't have health insurance, man. A lot of us. You know what I mean? He couldn't say, I'm doing this just for black people. You know what I'm saying? You know, when they did the stimulus under Obama to turn the economy around, they slipped some money in your paycheck. They cut taxes, right? He ain't make a big deal out of it. They cut taxes. I looked at my check like, oh, I got a couple more dollars. Great. You know what I mean? That helped black people, right? You know, the same way that President Trump making a big deal out of, oh, I'll let this woman Alice out of prison. Well, President Obama commuted more sentences than several presidents before him combined. He ain't make a big deal out of it. He just did it. He wasn't on Twitter talking about it. He just did it. He wasn't on CNN talking about it. He just did it. Who do you think were the people who he let out of jail, man? Mike, you know, it amuses me when I hear people say that Barack Obama did nothing for black people. Because what that lets me know is that you just repeating something you heard somebody else say, and you have no facts to back that up. None. Zero. You know what I mean? Like, we need to research just a little bit before we start talking. Just a little bit. You know, so we can, have a better understanding of what it is we're saying. Otherwise, you just look foolish and sound foolish. You know, so we're going to talk about it, but I want to hear from you. You can certainly give us a call, 215-634-8065. That is 215-634-8065. I'm Solomon Jones. We'll be right back.
Now, a word weather update. Here's NBC 10 First Alert meteorologist Bill Henley.
Thick fog this morning, sunshine this afternoon. Will warm to 74 degrees today, and the mild weather continues for Friday with a high of 72 and Saturday up to 73, but it turns much chillier with highs in the 50s on Sunday. Get the First Alert forecast anytime. Download the free NBC 10 app.
Now, a traffic update
on WURD Radio.
Good morning. This report sponsored by CVS. Looking at southbound 95 out of Jam, Cottman Avenue. down through Bridge, through construction, jammed again. Betsy Ross through Girard, northbound side. Watch for some slowing between Broad and Walt Whitman. They got a new traffic pattern in that construction area. The Vine Expressway westbound. Delays Main Street out through the Schuylkill Expressway. Schuylkill westbound, you're jammed there to 30th Street through construction. Heavy against City out to Gladwin. Eastbound busy from Montgomery through 30th Street there. Looking at the PA Turnpike, Blue Route 476. Overall, not too bad this morning. 55 northbound jamming. Deptford into 42. CVS pharmacists have a proprietary search tool that analyzes ways to help lower your prescription costs. Come in or call today to get a free prescription savings review at CVS. Savings vary. Not all patients eligible for savings. Ask pharmacists for details. For more traffic information, log on to sigalert.com. Jim Bachman with your Philadelphia area traffic.
Hello, brothers and sisters. I'm Ryan N. Boyer, the businessman of Labor's District Council of Philadelphia and vicinity. This is the most important and crucial election of our lifetime. We need you to help us to win this election in Pennsylvania.
You can make change. Your change, your vote, it counts.
That's our power. Our power is in our voice. Our power is in our vote. The challenge has been issued. What are you going to do about it?
Paid for by the Labor's District Council PAC Fund.
PECO has many ways to help you lower your energy usage and save money at home. Here's one. If your heating and cooling system is more than 20 years old, it may be time for your contractor to replace it with a high-efficiency Energy Star certified model. You'll get a rebate from PECO and save on your monthly electric bill. You'll find a list of new heating and cooling system rebates at peco.com/rebates. Or you can call 1-888-5-PECO-SAVE for all the details. Plus, find instant discounts on smart thermostats and more at peco.com/marketplace. There's free shipping on orders over $49.
What you get for your vote is important. For decades, Democrats like Joe Biden have taken our votes for granted. They have promised us a better future and never delivered. What did our votes for Biden get us? He wrote the 1994 crime bill that put millions of black men in prison for nonviolent crimes, and a sluggish economy that left our communities behind. What does a vote for President Trump and his Platinum Plan get you? A contract with Black America that prioritizes black economic empowerment, 3 million new jobs for the black community, 500,000 new black-owned businesses, an increase in access to capital in black communities by almost $500 billion, better and cheaper health care, more education opportunities, and continued historic improvements to our criminal justice system. A vote for Biden gets you the same failed policies we've seen for decades. But with President Trump, the best is yet to come.
I'm Donald Trump, candidate for president, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Donald J. Trump for President Incorporated.
Your success doesn't have to wait. It's time for a new year and a new you. And with Community College of Philadelphia, your goals are within reach. Our programs are a direct line to today's most sought-after careers, and you can skip the debt without sacrificing the quality of your education. Choose Community College of Philadelphia this spring semester, and you're choosing an education that you will value for years to come. Classes will be offered online, and all admissions and student support services are available remotely. Don't pay more at another college to earn the same credits from home. Start your success story with Community College of Philadelphia. Join us for a virtual open house on Thursday, November 5th at 6 p.m. To get started, RSVP at ccp.edu/open house. Your success starts at ccp.edu.
You're waking up
with WURD,
hosted by Solomon Jones.
Good morning.
Right now on WURD Radio,
96.1 FM
and 900 AM WURD.
Good morning. This is Solomon Jones on 900 AM, 96.1 FM, WURD, and I want to welcome you back to Wake Up with WURD. And it's interesting. It's interesting that, we are a community that is not a monolith, and I appreciate that. We don't all think the same way. We don't all, believe the same thing, and that's fine. But sometimes you can go overboard and like when you say stuff like Barack Obama ain't never do anything for black people. it's so interesting to see people say things like that, because what it means is that you haven't taken the time to think critically about what the election of the first black president meant for black people. Just his presence did more for black people than I think anything that he could say, any legislation that he could pass, right? I think the other thing we have to understand is this, that nobody is the president of just black people in America. No, you're the president of the United States of America, right? And so, you know, you have to look at, I think, the policies. I think you have to look at the effect of those policies. I think you have to look at who is affected by those policies. When the auto industry was going to go down, because remember, George W. Bush left the country in a shambles, right? He running all these wars without, you know, the money to do it. So he's borrowing the money. You know, they deregulated the market to the point where the market started creating these products that had no value, and they're selling these products, right? And so eventually, you know, everything caught up to them, and the whole thing crashed. And the world economy almost crashed. This is how Obama gets in, right? So Obama gets in, not just the American economy, the world economy is in tatters because George W. Bush and his administration deregulated to the point where nobody was watching what was happening with the market. So they selling stuff that's worthless. They putting all of these mortgages together. Remember, everybody getting mortgages that they can't afford. They got these balloon payments. And when it was time to pay the pipe, a lot of people lost their houses. People started losing their houses, then people started losing their jobs. People started losing their jobs, then businesses started to fold. America started to fold, and then other countries were affected by that. So you got a worldwide economic crisis. That's when Obama comes in. And literally not only saves the American economy, but saves the world economy. Oh, and by the way, puts universal health care in place. They've been trying to do it since Teddy Roosevelt, right? You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you know, you think about he ain't do nothing for black people. He let black people out of jail. He got black people health insurance. He saved black people's jobs. Who you think is working in these factories and stuff that was closed down? You know, there are black people who were among those auto workers who were going to lose their job if that industry went under. There are black people working for the airlines that he said. Like, you know, what do you mean he ain't never do nothing for black people? You know, and this just off the top of my head. I'm just thinking, you know, just think about it critically, man. And stop with the he ain't never do nothing for black people stuff. That's a lie from the pit of hell. Stop it. 215-634-8065. That is 215-634-8065. Let's go back to the phone lines. And if you want to get in, you can certainly give us a call, 215-634-8065. That is 215-634-8065. What do you miss about the Obama era? What's different now? Like, it's 4 years. It's been 4 years. It seems like we live in a whole different country. But what do you miss most about the Obama era? Give us a call, 215-634-8065. That is 215-634-8065. That is the number that you can call to get in on the conversation. You can also hit us on Facebook at onWURD. That's FORWURD, FORWURD. And let us know where you are on any of these things we are talking about on this morning's show. Rovetta Everett Gilmore says this: why would I give them the stimulus check back when I pay more taxes than the president? That stimulus check was nothing compared to what I pay the government in taxes. And she's absolutely right. She right. You know what I mean? Marvin Gaye said it best. Money, we make it for we see it. You take it. 215-634-8065. That is 215-634-8065. That is the number you can call to get in on the conversation right here at WURD Radio. Let us know where you are on these various things we're talking about. On this morning's show, Jacob from Olney is on line one. Go ahead, Jacob.
Hey, good morning, my brother. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Oh, man, I'm blessed. You know, you was just talking about how I've heard black people say, man, Obama didn't do nothing for black people, you know, and talk that talk, and they don't understand what you just explained. Not only did he save America, the banks, all of the systems in America had failed. They was going down like the Titanic, right? And here there's him. They came in, they saved the auto industry. They saved, and people was against that they shouldn't do that, right? So here's one thing I wanted to ask you, Solomon. Where was Tavis Smiley and Professor, what's his name?
Cornel West.
Yeah. During the whole Trump thing, I haven't heard a peep of them, right?
Ain't that something?
Talking about, but when your brother was on there, you beat him down every time y'all got a chance. You just beat him. And then this nut, white supremacist get in there. And y'all supposed to be talking black now, right? And you ain't said near word. Where they at?
Oh, man.
Can you find them? Can you ask them to come on your can we do this? Can we hear from them? Ain't heard.
You right.
But anyway, Solomon, look at it. I can't wait to debate tonight, man. I got me some popcorn ready.
Yeah.
And so, you know what I mean? I'm going to see what he done cooked up, this president. And, you know, what I miss about Obama is just sane, common sense. You know, look, the symbol, like you mentioned it, just the symbol of him being president. I heard one of the callers say, they mama cried.
Yeah.
Right? Because we never thought, I didn't think that we was going to see no black president in my lifetime. Just that symbol gave our children some kind of inspiration that they can do the same thing that he did. So when I hear these people, and most of them don't even know, like I heard somebody the other day call, they're talking about something, and all you had to do is go on he ain't got no agenda for black people, right? Showing that they ain't even do enough research. They just blurting out some stuff they heard, and that's why we get in trouble. But thank you for letting me. But can you try to get in touch with Smiley and do that for me, my brother? Thank you.
All right, Brother Jacob. I'll try. I did see Cornel West. He was on CNN rambling about something. You know, but you're right. I mean, you haven't really seen them come at Trump in the same way that they came at Obama. Of course, Tavis Smiley has had some issues of his own in the workplace, you know, with some accusations against him concerning sexual harassment and other things. But you didn't see him. You didn't see him do that like they did it to Obama. And I think you're absolutely right. And I want to thank you for bringing that up. Let's go to Reverend Carr from East Parkside on line 2. Go ahead, Reverend Carr.
Reverend Jones, you sound like yourself, man.
Feeling a little better.
Yeah, that's good. Well, first of all, I know my brother, who is a newly member of the WURD family. He's a little sick, but let me give him a shout out, Wendell. One of the things that when people say, and this is going to make you laugh, they said Obama didn't give us anything. How about cash for clunkers?
I forgot about cash for clunkers. What was it, like $4,000 or whatever? Cash for clunkers is back.
Obama didn't give you anything. So I said, look, do you remember when you had that card, you had to tow it in, to drag it in, to push it in, and they gave you $4,000 on a new car?
That's right.
As for clunkers. And not only that, let me real quick. And he doesn't like to go accredit himself to this health care thing. So they're talking about Obamacare. That's really a negative thing. It's called the Affordable Care Act. However, these little pop-up stands, they had a cell phone, and you know what they would call?
Obama phones.
There you go.
Obama phones. Yup. You're right. You're right. See, we forget too soon. I want to thank you so much. I want to thank you so much for your call this morning on WURD. He's right. I forgot about that. Cash for clunkers. You know, give you money for a car that wasn't worth nothing. Terrell from East Oak Lane is on line 3. Go ahead, Terrell.
Good morning, Solomon. How are you this morning?
I'm good, man. How you doing?
Good, brother, good. So, I just wanted to say, if Obama hadn't done anything, they wouldn't be fighting so hard to try to continue to attack his character, to undo his policies, and, and do all the things that they're just trying to do to erase him. When brothers don't do anything for an office, or sisters, who get elected, people work hard, to try to get them out. If they don't do anything, people leave them alone, right?
That's right.
They don't talk about them. They don't talk about their legacy. They just well, they ain't doing nothing, so don't attack them, right? But when the people are trying to do something in office, then especially when they're black, they do everything they can to try to undermine their policies, discredit them, attack their character. And so if he hadn't done anything, the Republicans and those in power wouldn't still be trying to work hard to this day to discredit him and undo all the policies that he did. But, I miss his consoling nature. I miss his articulation. I miss when the White House didn't feel like a constant Klan rally. I miss when the presidential cabinet, was filled with black folk who were given chances because they were educated and they improved themselves to be professionals in their crafts and in their fields. I miss those things, and I think those things matter, and those are the things that we're not seeing, in this presidency.
Yeah, I hear you, man, and I want to thank you for running that down. We appreciate you. We're going to go to break. On the other side, we're going to continue to take your calls. Khalil from Southwest, you're next. If you want to get in, it's 215-634-8065. That is 215-634-8065. I'm Solomon Jones. We'll be right back.
The pandemic is not only putting everyone's health at risk, it's also impacted our jobs and retirement security. And it's disproportionately affecting African Americans, especially those 50+. That's why AARP Pennsylvania is fighting for your voice to be heard. If you haven't voted yet, now is the time to learn about your voting options and cast your ballot. We're working to make sure you can vote safely, whether you choose to vote from home or in person. And if you choose to vote by mail, make sure you return your ballot using both envelopes. Your ballot goes in the smaller envelope for secrecy, and that goes into the larger envelope for mailing. Also, don't forget to sign the voter declaration on the back. Your voice matters. Make sure it's heard. Go to aarp.org/PA votes to learn about your voting options and how to vote safely this election. Visit aarp.org/PA votes today. Paid for by AARP.
It's easier than ever to get the right health coverage for families of all sizes.
This is Bonnie, Ronnie, Tani, Johnny.
Penny gets you covered. Millennials, gig workers, virtual birthday partiers.
Grandma, you're on mute.
Penny gets you all covered. Penny helps you compare plans, get financial assistance, and purchase health insurance that fits your life. Get covered at PENNIE.com or call 1-844-844-8040.
4 years ago, Donald Trump asked Black America a simple question. Asked us, what do you have to lose?
What do you have to lose?
Since then, we've seen a rise in racial violence and white supremacy, an increase in poverty.
You're living in poverty. Your schools are no good. You have no jobs.
While giving tax cuts to the rich. 200,000 dead from COVID, 1 in 5 are Black. We've lost our jobs, our businesses, our dignity, and even our lives. And he, Trump, dares to ask, what the hell do you have to lose?
What the hell do you have to lose?
Well, Mr. President, damn near everything. After 4 years of Trump, ask yourself, Black America, are you better off? Vote for change.
I'm Joe Biden, candidate for president, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Biden for president.
Hi, I'm Tobias Harris. We've been hashtagging and protesting, but this November, we can show the system what time it is. We've been victims of police brutality, stop and frisk, and other forms of harassment. On November 3rd, we take our power back. This year, everything changes. We can vote to end stop and frisk and put police accountability in the hands of the people. It's on us. On November 3rd, vote to make our communities safer and our systems fairer.
Paid for by Black Vote PA, which is responsible for the content of this advertising. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. www.theelectionisnow.com.
This is WURD Radio.
96.1 FM.
And 900 AM WURD Philadelphia.
Black Talk Media.
It's Wake Up with WURD, hosted by Solomon Jones. Right now on WURD Radio.
96.1 FM.
And 900 AM WURD.
Good morning. This is Solomon Jones on 900 AM, 96.1 FM, WURD. I'm laughing because I'm reading some of your Facebook comments. One of the things that we asked this morning, we asked a couple of questions this morning. What do you miss about the Obama era? So much has changed in the last 4 years. It's really like we're living in a different country. What do you miss about the Obama era? And we also asked this question. Given that CNN commentator Jeffrey Toobin exposed himself on a Zoom call, what are some things you should never do on Zoom? So we want to hear your answers to those questions. Cheryl Brown says this on Facebook. She said, you should always let your family know you're doing a Zoom, especially if you have a bathroom in your room. I saw a mom come out butt naked looking for clothes while the child was in class. Lord have mercy. 215-634-8065. That is 215-634-8065. That is the number you can call to get in on the conversation right here at WURD Radio. Kimberly Coleman Gade says, there's so many things I miss in the White House. Mostly I miss compassion. When tragedies took place in this country, President Obama spoke with a sense of humanity and at least tried to unite people. Instead, this commander in thief just says it is what it is and calls for more confusion. You know what? It's sad, but it's true. Like, it is what it is. We got 200,000 people dead from the novel coronavirus. For those who don't know, I'm recovering from COVID right now, right? And I'm grateful because my symptoms have been minor, right? I had some chills. I had some dizziness. I had a headache. I had a fever, right? But I never got to the point where, like, I can't breathe. I need to be on a respirator. I need to be in a hospital. I've been convalescing at home. My wife has been taking care of me very well, right? I've been locked in this room. That's driving me crazy. But I'm okay. You know what I mean? But so many people aren't. And for the president of the United States to be like, it is what it is. Wait a minute. What? What? You know what I'm saying? Like, this is where we are. So I agree with your comment wholeheartedly, and I want to thank you for making it this morning on WURD Radio. The other thing that I've been thinking about, and this kind of hit me, while we were on break, is that song lyrics say so much about what's going on in the world, right? So if you got a lyric, and I'm thinking about Friendly Fred, he always called him with some song lyrics, right? He's trying to act like he's saying something, but it's really just some song lyrics. But a song lyric that kind of describes what's happening now. I want to hear from you. Give us a call, 215-634-8065. That is 215-634-8065. Patricia from Southwest. I'm sorry, Khalil from Southwest is first. He's on line 4. Go ahead, Khalil.
Good morning, Solomon. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great.
Good.
I think one of the things that we're misconstruing, the black left a lot of times get called anti-Obama. I'm been impacted by Malcolm X. I follow his philosophy. I mean, it makes me who I am. And I grew up in that philosophy and was mentored by a lot of his peers. Mm-hmm. But Malcolm X pointed out one thing about quote-unquote black radicalism. He said, before the rise of the Nation of Islam, the Main Street establishment was about to investigate the NAACP. He said, but when we came along, the establishment said, thank God for the NAACP. And that was one of the things, even the Kennedys, when they talked about having to work with the civil rights movement, they was like, do you want to work with King or do you want to work with the nation? And Malcolm, when he left the nation, he created, established the Organization of African American Unity. He went south and he told them, say, look, Martin is giving you an alternative. Here am I. This is what I want. And because we've cut that voice off, that black radical tradition is cut off now because, I mean, just the attacks are just vicious. We have one of our most prominent scholars, Glenn Ford, who's actually on the list as a Russian asset, and he's not. I mean, this man's been doing this his whole life.
So what is your point, brother? And I don't know that I agree that that black radicals have been cut off. I don't know that I agree with that. Why do you say that?
Well, the reason I say that, I'll give you a case in point. Me, I would fight for single payer, a more inclusive than Obamacare. And I know Obamacare actually came out of the Heritage Foundation when big business, particularly in the 90s, realized that so many people wanted health care.
Well, the first one who did a model like Obamacare was actually Mitt Romney when he was governor of Massachusetts. And so I hear your point, but I think that sometimes you can't expect the perfect, right? You expect to get some compromise, and I think that's what happened with the Affordable Care Act. They compromised to something that they could actually pass, rather than something that they couldn't, like single payer.
Well, what I'm saying is, but still allow that voice, because Roosevelt, he was able to get the New Deal done. He told the radicals to go out and protest it. They didn't get everything they wanted, but they made the impact that more powerful because with these socialists and radicals, the business people were looking at what happened in the Soviet Union. Was like, we better give them something. That's George Soros. This is what he's saying. This is why he's backing so many progressive causes, because he understands there's another option that's going to demand more of me.
Okay, you got it. Okay, what's your point, though, brother? Because we got a lot of people holding.
I think that we have to be all-inclusive because, like Cornel West, he's been active this whole 4 years. Matter of fact, I saw him just lose it over a Trump supporter about to fight him. I never seen him that way. I'm saying the ridicule of people and the traditions that we stand on, people hold these people up to be icons, but when you try to practice that black radicalism today, you're vilified because I don't agree with the Democratic Party. But a lot of times we make it easier. I did a debate with a right-wing...
Yeah, we got to move on, though. We got to move on. We can't keep going story after story, but I appreciate your call this morning on WURD. Let's go to Patricia from Southwest on line 1. Go ahead, Patricia.
Yeah, hi. And as he was saying, that's bull, what he's saying. But anyway, he had the unemployment, which for 2 years you didn't have to fight every 4 or 5 months for a stimulus. And also, Michelle, she had the health food for the children. Less children were getting diabetes during that time. So now we also have people continuing to say he didn't do anything. He couldn't pass the bill for the single payer, so he got the best thing he can get.
All right. I want to thank you so much for your call this morning on WURD. Let's go to Lane Jacob from North Philly on line 2. Go ahead.
Yeah, thanks for taking my call this morning, Simon.
You're welcome.
One thing that I believe that Obama did in reference to the healthcare workers. Remember, people was taking off from work, taking care of their family, and they was not getting compensated. And I think he has something to do with making that possible. That right now we have a healthcare industry where family members can stay off work and be paid to take care of their loved ones. I think that was passed through his administration as well. Hello? Was am I correct about that?
I don't remember. I'm going to have to look that up.
Yeah, the healthcare, like right now, if I decide to take care of my mother, right?
Oh, you talking about family leave?
No, not the family leave. Where,
Okay, what is
say I wanted to take care of her, and I get paid for doing that now.
Oh, okay. I know that that's in place. I have to research it and figure out if that's something that Obama did.
I think he made that possible.
Okay.
All right? And all right, peace.
All right. I want to thank you so much for your call this morning on WURD Radio. Let's go to B Black from West Philly on line 3. Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Solomon. I'm glad you're well and getting through it.
Thank you.
One of the things that I think about in songs is when Marvin Gaye say, "What's going on?" You know, brother, brother, brother. You know, and we have to look at that in the space that we're in. You know, our heart goes out to the Nigerians, like you said. Sometimes power that corrupts, and we can see it in our streets today. Again, the Osley brothers said, "Dress me up for battle, and all I want is peace." You know, Obama won the Nobel Peace Prize because he was dealing on a world level. You know what I'm saying? Plus, when you put the Affordable Care Act in, I had a stroke the year that Obama was in, took his first run in the presidency. Right? I wanted to go to Washington. I couldn't make it because I was on my back with a stroke. Right? Today, if we just go in the hospitals, you know, we're in and out because of Obamacare. You know, we get the best care that we could get, and hospital is in a good state today. They got more germs in the hospital than they have on the streets, you know, in and out. You know what I mean? If you're not that sick, you know, put on your boots, put on your suit, get back out there. We're dealing with germ warfare today, you know, and we don't know where it's coming from. And the elite class can't do that, you know, get us out of this mess that we're in. You know?
I hear you, B Black. I want to thank you so much for your call this morning on WURD Radio. Let's go to Brother Gary from Chester on line 4. Go ahead, Brother Gary.
Solomon Jones, thanks for taking my call, Solomon Jones. I'm praying God that your health get better. Now, Solomon Jones, the theme song for right now is it was really not a song. It's more or less music, and it's the theme from Twilight Zone. Solomon Jones, thanks for taking my call.
You're right. You are absolutely right. Man, oh, man, oh, man. That was such a good show. We are living in Twilight Zone. 215-634-8065. That is 215-634-8065. Eric from West Philly is on line 1. Go ahead, Eric.
Good morning, Solomon, my brother. Good to see you and hear you once again, man, and I thank God that you're doing well. I prayed for Kuwaisa also, man. I hope she's doing well. We missed you when you were gone, but glad you're back. But listen, my song is from my boys, P.E. I got so much trouble on my mind. Refuse to lose. Here's your ticket. Hear the drummers get wicked. Yeah, that's my joint. But what I really miss about the Obama administration was the dignity and the class in which he held the position down. You know, he's always my president also, man. And I'd like to thank you, Solomon, for keeping me abreast as to what's going on in the world. I had no idea about this thing that's going on in Nigeria, man. That was very disturbing to hear. And, you know, just got to send prayers up. I don't know what else we could do to help that situation out there, but it is truly sad, man, and sad to hear. So it just goes to show that the level of wickedness in this world is just all over the world. It's not concentrated here. It reaches all over the world. We got to be prayed up, and we got to come together as a people, as a human race, to combat this evil that's out here. Thank you for taking my call. Bless you, man. Love you. Keep doing what you do.
Love you back. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. 215-634-8065. That is 215-634-8065. That is the number that you can call to get in on the conversation right here at WURD Radio. Let's go back to the phone lines. Speaking of song lyrics, Friendly Fred, how you doing, man?
What's up, Salman?
Not much.
Okay, let me go with it. I just want to say I'll paint the whole world the colors of a rainbow, and it'll be a spiritual rainbow, because there's a need and a reason to be happy, and happiness is the truth. And I can paint a picture of all the love I have inside. It will paint all of you and all of me. So take a paintbrush and paint a pretty smile each day, because loving is a blessing, and let the sun shine and smile your way, and your smile will be a joy beside delight, because your smile is a joy beside delight. And every time you smile, you bless a child. By God's grace, I smile, and you'll smile. And that's all I got to say. Thank you, Salman.
All right, Friendly Fred, I appreciate that. Song lyrics that really describe what's going on now. You know, that hit me this morning, man. I thought about Friendly Fred, so I appreciate him calling in. Yeah, I'm telling you, mother, 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 there's far too many of you crying. Brother, 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 there's far too many of you dying. We got to find a way to bring some love in here today. Marvin Gaye, you know, what's going on? You know what I mean? Like, I want to hear from you. 215-634-8065. That is 215-634-8065. That is the number you can call to get in on the conversation right here at WURD Radio. Let us know where you are on these various things we are talking about on this morning show. 215-634-8065 is the number that you can call to get in. Of course, we got Jay McCalla coming up in just a few minutes, and later on in the show, we're going to talk with Pete Souza about the fabulous documentary, The Way I See It. He is former White House photographer, worked for the Reagan administration and several administrations up through the Obama administration. And we are really looking forward to talking to him a little bit later on in the show. So stay tuned for that and let everybody know that we're going to be talking with him. And, of course, Jay McCalla in just a couple minutes. Also, we are taking your comments from Facebook. That is at FORWURD, FORWURD. Let us know where you are on these various things we're talking about. Deborah Dorn Carter says this: Solomon, President Obama saved this country. Bush had this country in a recession. He saved the car industry. Wall Street, if you were on unemployment, it was extended for several years. I think some blacks feel he should just represent blacks. He is the president for all people, not just for blacks. So that's what Deborah Dorn Carter had to say about President Obama and what she missed about the Obama era. Muriel Revere Taylor said this: reading comments on both Facebook and this comment thread has shown me how little we know about how this government is run. It's a shame. It saddens me when I read comments that show our ignorance of the federal, state, and city governments. Maybe that's why we don't vote. We just don't know. Well, I vote. and really, you know, I think she has a point about people not understanding how government works. And you know, I blame the educational system for that. And, you know, we have to take some responsibility for that as well, because once we understand that the city handles things on the city level, the state handles things on the state level, the federal government is on the federal level, like it's 3 different levels of government. And within those 3 different levels, each of them are also divided into 3 segments, right? The judiciary, that's, you know, the judges and the criminal justice system. The legislative, which is on the federal level as Congress, on the city level as city council. They handle the money. And then the executive branch basically signs legislation, puts forth ideas, nominates judges, right? Puts, you know, appointed people in place. You know, that, like, all of those things have different functions, and we have to understand that in order to win. You got to understand the rules of the game in order to win, right? And so, speaking of that, speaking of understanding it, we are going to go to break, because on the other side, we're going to talk with Jay McCalla. He's coming up on the other side of this break. I'm Solomon Jones. We'll be right back.
Now, a WURD weather update. Here's NBC 10 First Alert meteorologist Bill Henley.
Thick fog this morning, sunshine this afternoon. Will warm to 74 degrees today, and the mild weather continues for Friday with a high of 72 and Saturday up to 73, but it turns much chillier with highs in the 50s on Sunday. Get the First Alert forecast anytime. Download the free NBC 10 app.
Now, a traffic update
on WURD Radio.
Good morning. This report sponsored by CVS. 95 southbound still pretty jammed up. Copman down through Bridge. You get heavy from Betsy Ross down through Girard, northbound side. Watch for slowing between Broad and the Walt Whitman Bridge. New construction pattern there through that area. Schuylkill Expressway eastbound Blue Ridge to Gladwin heavy again. Montgomery to 30th. Westbound you're jammed up there through 30th through construction. Again, City out through the Blue Route generally busy. On the Vine westbound 8th Street through the Schuylkill Expressway. That is a slow ride. Blue Ridge 476 southbound a bit slow from the Schuylkill Expressway to Villanova St. David's. There is an accident there off to the shoulder. Northbound 95 up to Route 1. A bit of a slow ride as well. CVS pharmacists have a proprietary search tool that analyzes ways to help lower your prescription costs. Come in or call today to get a free prescription savings review at CVS. Savings vary. Not all patients eligible for savings. Ask pharmacists for details. For more traffic information, log on to SIGAlert.com. Jim Bachman with your Philadelphia area traffic.
What's up, Philly? It's Solomon Jones. The school year is underway, but never before has that experience come in so many shapes and sizes. Is the education of your child being left to a smattering of clumsy, in-person, and virtual instruction? The COVID-19 crisis has created a market for untested virtual teaching models lacking true credibility. Maybe it's time to reconsider and check out Commonwealth Charter Academy. Here are the benefits to your family. 1. An online education provided at no cost to you, complete with laptop, headset, and help with internet access. 2. Partnership with the market leader in cyber education with a nearly 20-year track record of world-class learning. 3. Delivery of a safe, reliable, and comfortable education experience over the internet directly to the confines of your living room. Visit ccaeducate.me today and discover the gold standard of cyber education. That's ccaeducate.me.
Hi, I'm Keir Bradford Gray, the Chief Defender of the Defender Association of Philadelphia. I've spent my career helping to reform our criminal justice system by advancing client-centered representation that empowers our communities to be stronger and safer. Our communities are still over-policed and under-resourced. This year, accountability is on the ballot, and we can finally have the community police oversight that we desperately need.
Paid for by Black Vote PA, which is responsible for the content of this advertising. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. www.theelectionisnow.com.
Joe Biden insulted millions of black Americans.
If you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, and you ain't black.
Worse, Biden wrote the mass incarceration laws that destroyed a generation of black families. Listen to Biden's racist rhetoric.
We have no choice but to take them out of society. Away from my mother, your husband, our families. Lock the SOBs up.
Biden's policies were so harmful that Senator Cory Booker called him an architect of mass incarceration. Millions of black lives devastated by Biden's policies.
Take a look at my record, man.
We did, and we've had enough. Joe Biden spent years hurting the black community. He insulted us, jailed us. We must not elect him president.
I'm Donald Trump, candidate for president, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Donald J. Trump for President, Inc.
Right now, the health and financial security of voters over 50 are on the line. That's why AARP Pennsylvania is fighting for your voice to be heard. AARP Pennsylvania wants to make sure that you know all of your voting options and that all Americans can vote safely, whether they choose to vote from home or in person. To learn more about your voting options, visit aarp.org/PA votes. Paid for by AARP.
Tune in this Saturday at 10 a.m. for the Educational Pulse with the School District of Philadelphia with host Dr. William Haidt.
It's Wake Up with WURD, hosted by Solomon Jones. Right now on WURD Radio.
96.1 FM.
And 900 AM WURD.
cried, his voice quivered. Nobody repents better than a politician who's been caught. I think basically they're just annoyed that they didn't say it first. I sat down on the train. Next thing I know, I'm standing here in the lobby of the Trump Plaza.
How did I get here?
I don't know. Clearly there was an endorsement that was going to happen that day.
And now, Jay McCallum, only on Wake Up with Word.
Good morning. This is Solomon Jones on 900 AM, 96.1 FM, WURD, and I want to welcome you back to Wake Up with Word. Joining us now is Jay McCallum. He held senior positions in both the Rendell and Street administrations. A veteran political consultant, McCallum's work has been published in the Philadelphia Inquirer, Philadelphia Magazine, and the Chestnut Hill Local. He brings deep knowledge to politics and does so from an African-American perspective. Jay, good morning.
Good morning to you, Solomon. You sound good. You sound strong. I like hearing you.
Yeah, thank you, man. I'm feeling much better. I'm feeling much better. So
and I watch you on Facebook, and you look good.
Thank you. Thank you. So I appreciate that, man. And we got to talk about your real president, though, President Obama.
Oh, right.
He visited Philly yesterday to stump for Joe Biden and said Donald Trump has a secret Chinese bank account, that he pays more money to foreign governments than he pays in taxes, and that he messed up the surplus Obama left him just like he messed up everything else he inherited. What are your thoughts, Jay?
Man, oh, man. Solomon, that was a very un-Obama speech. You know, that's not what he does. He's not one to get in somebody's face and tell them about themselves. But that's what he did last night with Trump. I'll tell you, basically, the former president called Trump out for incompetence and corruption, and at the most important moment in the campaign, and in one of the most important states in the race. There's been a big shift in the party. We used to wait and get excited whenever Bill Clinton was going to come out on the campaign trail and campaign for whoever the Democratic presidential nominee, all the big dogs coming out, you know? The media would just get excited all about him, you know? But Clinton, for young folks in the party, he's an ancient, distant figure. He's been out of office since 2001, almost 20 years. Young folks don't know anything about him. Today, the big gun in the party is Barack Hussein Obama. He is scandal-free, morally upright, and he is inspiring. This is the voice we've been waiting to hear this entire campaign. Clinton hasn't said boo about Biden since the convention. But we knew Barack would come through for his buddy Joe, and he did. And he's still coming through. There's, what, just shy of 2 weeks still left? Right now, our politics is noisy, and Obama cuts through the noise with his integrity. Every channel covered him last night, and every paper this morning reported on him. It's just what we needed. Obama would be happy to pick up a few votes for Biden, but his real mission in Philly was to rev up turnout. His job was to get us excited about voting. At this point, it's no longer about getting registered. That ship has sailed. It's about showing up. And on that point, I urge folks to not get fooled. The election feels good right now. It does. Because the very heavy level of mail-in votes, it's presumed that the early voters are Democrats because we take the virus seriously. And it looks like we're crushing them. But let's chill, because the Republicans haven't voted yet. They don't take the virus seriously. They're waiting for Election Day to come out. And so their strength has yet to be seen. And so we have to take that and still keep churning out and turning out. Because of early voting by Monday, before the election, Trump's team is going to have a general sense of what the Democratic turnout is, where it is, and how to counter it. They'll then have a decent sense of how many Election Day votes they'll need to beat us by. They'll have a sense of what they need to do. And because we have to we're showing our hand first. And that's what early voting is doing to help Republican strategists. But may God bless Barack for coming. Philly needs help. In the last week, I've gotten a dozen texts from organizations reminding me to vote. Maybe one text a day I get. You know?
Yeah.
The funny thing is I haven't heard one blessed peep out of Democratic City Committee. No TV ads, no text, no newspaper ads, no phone calls, nothing. They are asleep. If Biden has a weak flank, it's Democratic City Committee in the most important election in American history. A big Biden vote out of Philly could tip the state and boot Trump out of office. That's why the party needs to be engaged. It ought to be all hands on deck, but the party is AWOL. They won't wake up until Biden gives them a truckload of street money, as usual. Solomon, I'm riding with Biden, but it looks like Democratic City Committee could not care less.
You know what's interesting? I'm getting all of these text messages, too. I mean, to the point where I'm blocking them now.
There you go.
Because it's like constant. It's several times a day. And it's from all these different organizations. Don't forget to vote. Don't forget to send your mail-in ballot. Don't forget to, and you know that's fine. But after a while, it's annoying. Especially I'm sick. I'm trying to convalesce. Like, leave me alone, right? But you need to have that. And to your point, you know, you need to have that from the people whose job it is to do it, as well as these nonprofits, because that's where a lot of that stuff comes from. Or, you know, organizations that have been put together to make sure, you know, you get out the vote. But you're right. You do need to hear from, you know, the folks whose job it is to do it.
Yeah. And this is going to change politics, because if voters can quote unquote go to the polls, which basically means voting through the mail, voting from your living room, the party becomes less important. You're not going to get grabbed by a committee person trying to give you their opinion before you walk into the polls.
Right.
You vote freely, free of encumbrance from home. And but yeah, I mean the Democratic City commissioners, and I shouldn't say Democratic because two are Democrats and one's a Republican, but those three guys haven't reached out. They're wrestling with the organization of it all, but somebody from the people who supervise elections should be trying to rev up turnout. The mayor, if he believes in democracy, should be trying to rev up turnout. And certainly, Democratic City Committee, this is what they're going to get almost $250,000 in street money for. So they really need to be on the line, and they just ain't.
Well, the one thing that we do have on our show, we do have two of the city commissioners who come through. They alternate. So 1 week it's Omar Sabir, then the next week it's Lisa Daly. And so we do have them on the show. But to your point, you know, to get those, you know, personal messages or whatever, I think, you know, certainly that should be something that should be done too. So we'll see what happens going forward. I want to talk about tonight because the next debate is tonight, and the microphones are going to be turned off during the candidates' 2-minute openings for each of the 6 topics. Jay, do you still expect to see chaos?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Tonight will be the most fun of all the debates. If you missed the other two, this is one you cannot miss, okay? It's one thing to see King Kong acting a fool and interrupting all night, like the last debate. It's another to watch King Kong strapped and wrapped and bound and tied where he can't answer. Imagine tying up a hardcore crack addict. You bind his hands, his feet, and gag him. Then you put a $20 bill in front of him. That addict will desperately try to wiggle out of those constraints in order to get at that $20 bill. That's going to be Trump tonight. He's going to have that constraint of your microphone is off. The camera will not be on you. It's going to be on Joe when he's talking. The mic's going to be on when Joe is talking. So what will he do? He's a park ape, in my opinion, my humble opinion. And he is nuts. And so he's going to be bugging. He won't be able to stand those moments in silence, respectful silence. That's not who he is. That's not how he's built. So he's going to do something to get attention when his mic is off. He's going to do something to get attention when the camera's not on him. Just like a 5-year-old who might walk into the living room with all his aunts and uncles around and he drops his pants just to get attention. That's going to be Donald tonight, you know? He is addicted to flamboyant lies and public attention. I doubt he'll be able to hold it together tonight. Trump doesn't take any care or any concern about bank fraud and treason. He certainly doesn't give a doggone about the itty-bitty debate rules. Trump's going to soil himself if it means getting some attention tonight. This is Trump's last big free public exposure in a race he appears to be losing. He's going to act like the mayor of Freaktown. He's under more pressure than ever before in his life, and plus, he's nuts. I'm ready to laugh at Trump, but I'm still a bit worried about Biden being on his game. He's the right choice, but I'm not sure at 77 he's the best guy to put out there for the lightning round of public debate. For us Philly folks, the debate will offer one extra treat. It's going to be hosted by our own Kristen Welker, who covers the White House for NBC. Welker is an African-American from Philly. There hasn't been a black woman-moderated debate since the great Carol Simpson back in 1992, almost 30 years ago.
Wow.
Solomon, tonight will be the fun night. I'm waiting for the mayor of Freaktown to blow his orange back. Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
It's gonna be crazy, Jay, because you're right. He's gonna do something. And now the mic's gonna be turned off for the 2-minute opening statement. But in between those opening statements for those 6 topics, the mics, I guess, will not be turned off. So it's not clear to me whether or not they've decided to turn off the mic if one candidate interrupts the other. It seems to me like they've just made this compromise that they just going to turn off the mic during that 2-minute opening. But here's the thing, right? So, of course, I'm following all of the news outlets and trying to figure out exactly what's happening. Fox News is reporting that the Trump campaign is going to have somebody monitoring the technician who's in charge of the mute button.
Wow. 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 And if the moderator presses the mute button, does that mean that the Trump volunteer is supposed to wrestle her hand off the button?
I don't know. That's what I'm saying. Like, what do you mean? You going to stand over this person? Like, what you going to do?
You see, it's all about the threat with him.
Right.
He's going to send people to the polls to watch us. Yeah. And he's going to put somebody there to watch the moderator and the mute button. It's all about threats with him, you know? And he's so darn paranoid.
Yeah, it's bizarre. It is bizarre, but I think you're right, Jay. I think you got to get your popcorn ready because he's going to do something. And I'm sure that, because I'm sure he didn't prepare to answer the questions.
Right.
He thinks he's perfect. He's not doing debate prep like you and I know debate prep, for a real candidate who actually is going to go over the issues, have some canned answers, have some talking points. Like, he ain't doing all that. You know what I mean? But he will be prepared to do something crazy. And I think that I just want to see what it is. What are you going to do crazy to try to get attention while your mic is off?
Oh, yeah. He's going to be yelling at the moderator how unfair she is. This is going to be a hoot. A pure hoot.
Yeah, I agree. I'm concerned. I hope that Kristen Welker, does everything she can to keep things under control. I still remember the vice presidential debate, and I was really angry because I felt like the moderator did an awful job. I mean, it was awful. So, you had Pence continually talking for like 30 seconds over his time, and she's sitting up saying, "Thank you, Mr. Vice President. Thank you." Stop saying thank you and make them shut up. Like, that's really the job. The job of the moderator has to be to move it along because the people need to hear from both candidates. I want to hear from Trump and I want to hear from Biden. I want to hear from both of them, but you can't have that if you got one of them talking over the other, and that one is most likely to be Donald Trump.
Yeah, and I believe that it may be a factor that Kristen Welker is young. She's still building her career, and she's not going to want to risk the backlash from her bosses or from the public if she makes a mistake tonight. So she's going to be a little bit inhibited, in my opinion, in terms of what she does. Does she have the gravitas to interrupt Donald Trump? I don't know. But we'll see. We'll doggone see in just a few short hours.
Yeah. How about that? We're going to go to break. On the other side, we're going to continue our conversation with Jay McCalla right here on WURD.
Now, a word weather update. Here's NBC 10 First Alert meteorologist Bill Henley.
Thick fog this morning, sunshine this afternoon. Will warm to 74 degrees today, and the mild weather continues for Friday with a high of 72 and Saturday up to 73, but it turns much chillier with highs in the 50s on Sunday. Get the First Alert forecast anytime. Download the free NBC 10 app.
Now, a traffic update on WURD Radio.
Good morning. Still a couple of busy spots here in Philadelphia. Schuylkill Expressway eastbound still a bit heavy from the Blue Route through Gladwin. Again, Montgomery through Spring Garden. Westbound, you're jammed up there to 30th Street through construction. Then they get heavy city out to Gladwin. Westbound Vine Expressway jam Parkway through the Schuylkill Expressway. 95 southbound, you're jammed there from Cotman through Bridge. Again, Betsy Ross through Girard. 55 northbound Deptford into 42. Still a bit busy there. 42 northbound delays. 55 through Creek Road. For more traffic information, log on to SIGAlert.com. Jim Bachman with your Philadelphia area traffic.
Man, this coronavirus has us all moving differently.
No doubt. Like washing our hands more and social distancing with the crew. I'm always telling people to give me 6 feet. We're here, Grandma.
There's my babies. Good to see you got your mask on.
Wear mask. Stop the spread. For more information, visit www.pa.gov/COVID.
Paid for with Pennsylvania taxpayer dollars. 4 years ago, Donald Trump asked Black America a simple question. Asked us, what do you have to lose?
What do you have to lose?
Since then, we've seen a rise in racial violence and white supremacy, an increase in poverty.
You're living in poverty. Your schools are no good. You have no jobs.
While giving tax cuts to the rich. 200,000 dead from COVID, 1 in 5 are Black. We've lost our jobs, our businesses, our dignity, and even our lives. And he, Trump, dares to ask, what the hell do you have to lose?
What the hell do you have to lose?
Well, Mr. President, damn near everything. After 4 years of Trump, ask yourself, Black America, are you better off? Vote for change.
I'm Joe Biden, candidate for president, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Biden for president.
There's a pressing need to strengthen pathways to better jobs in communities of color. That's why Bank of America is investing $1 billion to advance racial equality and economic opportunity.
I'm Jim Dever, Greater Philadelphia Market President for Bank of America. We've partnered with Coded by Kids to connect people to new skills and employment opportunities. It's just one way we're taking action in Greater Philadelphia right now.
Bank of America N.A., member FDIC, equal credit opportunity lender.
Reverend Tyler, with November 3rd around the corner, do you know how you'll be voting this year?
Dr. Callahan, I requested my mail-in ballot, and I'm returning it the day it comes in the mail.
That's perfect, because we can't leave anything to chance this year.
Already received your mail-in ballot? You're just a few simple steps away from turning your mailbox into a ballot box. Here's how. After selecting your candidates, place your marked ballot into the small secrecy envelope and seal it. It's a 2-envelope process, so then you'll place the small secrecy envelope into the larger one. Make sure to seal that one too. Sign and date it, and then it's as simple as dropping it in your mailbox, no postage necessary, or returning it to your county election office. And if you still want to sign up to vote by mail or find out where to drop off your mail-in ballot, visit votespa.com.
I'm not waiting until November 3rd. I'm returning my mail-in ballot the day it comes in the mail.
Or you can return your ballot to your county election office.
I've got my plan. Make your plan to vote today.
Paid for by Power Interfaith.
It's Wake Up with WURD, hosted by Solomon Jones.
Good morning.
Right now on WURD Radio.
96.1 FM.
And 900 AM WURD.
Good morning. This is Solomon Jones on 900 AM, 96.1 FM, WURD. And we're back with Jay McCalla talking politics this morning on Wake Up with WURD. Let's talk about the Supreme Court, Jay, because the Supreme Court ruled this week that they would allow a lower court order to stay in place that would allow mail-in ballots in Pennsylvania to be counted as long as they're postmarked by Election Day. That's a victory for Democrats. Do you expect the battle over mail-in ballots in Pennsylvania to continue?
Well, Solomon, the fight over mail-in ballots is going to go on, I think, even after the election. The Trump campaign loves to sue states and sue cities. So they're going to continue to push to invalidate what they believe are Democratic votes. Remember, Trump gutted the postal system to prevent mail-in voting, and he's been attacking mail-in voting for months. He's not going to stop now. Mail-in voting makes you immune to all the dirty tricks Republicans play at the polls. They can't lie to you about what day Election Day is on. They can't close your polling place. Voting from home means you're not going to experience the voter intimidation that Trump is going to be sending to black polling places. You're protected from home. Trump doesn't need a solid, sound reason to sue. All he needs is a lawyer. So he'll try to tie up these mail-in ballots in court as long as he possibly can, using any argument he can, any argument. Remember, for Trump, it's either re-election or prison. So Election Day will just be the beginning of Trump's true presidential fight. You can expect a tsunami of lawsuits, and Trump supporters they'll intimidate election officials after the vote because they'll have to spend some time counting, and they'll know where the votes are being counted, and they're going to show up. Republicans and Trump people are going to show up where the votes are being counted, just like they did in Florida back when George Bush and Al Gore's votes were being counted. Republicans showed up outside the room where the votes were being counted. They forced themselves in. They intimidated the election officials. That's part of the Republican playbook. Solomon, on every page of the Republican playbook, it says, fight like the devil. And that's exactly what they plan to do. They're not going to concede 1 point. They're not going to give up 1 vote. They're going to drag this out as obnoxiously as they can.
I think that the mail-in voting thing and the early voting, you're right. I think it cancels out a lot of what they've done in terms of trying to suppress votes. That has been their strategy forever because they realize that they're outnumbered, that most people don't agree with their policies, that most people are not Republicans. And so the fewer people that can vote, the better it is for them. But with mail-in voting, with early voting, you've got millions of people who've already voted. You know what I mean? And so it really does depend on now what happens on Election Day, what ballots get counted, et cetera. But, the early voting and the mail-in voting, for all intents and purposes, certainly favors Democrats. So I expect them to fight hard, Jay.
Yeah, because those are our votes, and he knows that if he wins by 1 vote, he's won, and that's all he cares about. So he's going to go after this with blood in his eyes and with paranoia, because again, it's either re-election or prison, and he may just go broke out of office on legal fees alone. It's happened before, where rich people get in, they get broke because they really can't afford their legal fees. Bill Clinton, under his impeachment, he had to run his legal defense on credit. He couldn't pay his bills back until he was out of office. So Trump might go broke because legal fees for something like this, when you want the best lawyers in the country, this is going to be expensive. Who's going to pay for it? I don't know. And I don't think Trump knows either because he ain't going to pay. But it's either re-election or prison. God bless our president.
This is crazy. This is crazy, man, because, it really reminds me when you talk about re-election or prison, it goes back to, the New York State Attorney General investigating him over, cheating people, which he's done apparently, throughout his career. You've got, the fact that he has now the secret Chinese bank account, like crazy stuff crazy stuff, Jay. And of course, the Justice Department, you know, has a policy of not indicting a sitting president. Of course, that would create chaos. But once he's out of office, all bets are off.
Yeah, and in fact, he'll be just like his kids go hunt elephants in Africa. The prosecutor who goes after Trump will know that it will make their career. Any U.S. attorney or any state attorney general who brings Trump down, they will be famous forever. And so he's got some motivated people coming after his hiney, and he needs to be scared.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens with it. The last thing I want to talk about, and I have been able to now look up the legislation, but the last thing I want to talk about is what's happening here in Philadelphia, because you got City Council pushing to reverse legislation that it passed just last year to get rid of the tax abatement. Now, the bill number that they are doing that under is bill number 200558, and it's sponsored by Council members Heenan, Parker, and Council President Clark. Councilwoman Parker is my councilwoman, and I disagree with her and Councilmember Heenan and Council President Clark on this because you just had this thing pass in 2019, and now they're trying to reverse it and delay the changes for 3 years, right? What are your thoughts, Jay?
Man, you've done some good research. I didn't know that Bobby Heenan was supporting this bill. I don't know why the members of council would permit a man like Bobby Heenan, who's under federal indictment, to be involved in shaping tax policy for our city. That's the big crime. And the fact that they want to delay the change for 3 years, well, you know how folks are. In 3 years, we will have forgotten, you know? To be honest, Solomon, I never really believed council would have the guts to get rid of this darn thing. The 10-year tax abatement is the biggest gentrification tool in the history of Philadelphia. Essentially, we are paying white people to move into the city. That's what we're doing. Buy a new house, and you live tax-free for a decade. If you sell your house after 9 years and buy another new home, you're on your way to almost 20 years without paying real estate taxes. Now, that's ugly. That's not something that's available to us. It's not a program the average black or Latino can take advantage of, and the council people know that. That's what bugs me. The other side of the tax abatement is that developers mark up the price of the house big time. It's more valuable with a 10-year tax abatement. So developers love this program. Every house they build is a lot more profitable because of the abatement. So they're not going to let this go away. They're not going to let council take it away. Truth be told, our politics is run by law firms, labor unions, and real estate developers in Philadelphia. They're the big campaign donors, and they expect the government to jump when they snap their fingers, and government always does. Otherwise, they wouldn't get any donations. Now, city council is dominated by folks of color. They know the tax abatement is a de facto whites-only program. They know it. So they also know Philly is having a rough financial time because of the virus. They know that they've been cutting the budget. They know they've been laying off workers. Despite all of that, the black power on council wants to defer millions and millions more of tax dollars so upper middle class whites can live comfortably in a city that's a majority color. If you are a black council person with any rundown properties in your district, you're going to get donations from developers. It just is going to happen. You just accept them because they want you to get those cheap houses and vacant land for them. They will expect you to help with zoning changes and anything else they need to get more rich. They expect you to help in the gentrification of your own council district. Now, that's messed up, but we're doing it. Last week, I drove past Miller Memorial Baptist Church up around the 1500 block of North Point and 2nd Street. I haven't been there in years. This ancient black church was now surrounded by new construction.
Yeah.
It's a white neighborhood now, except for the black church sitting in the middle of it. The neighborhood is lost to us now. Solomon, I realize politicians need donations, but Lord in his heaven knows it's better to run your campaign and fund your campaign with chicken dinners than sell out to developers who want black folks gone.
So there's a companion piece of legislation with it, which is to put a 1% tax on construction, right? And they say they're going to use that money to fund programs, right? That are going to, and I can't help laughing, man, because I've been around too long, man. Programs are going to be run by people who don't look like us. They're going to get the money. We might get a roof. It's just. But anyway, the companion piece of legislation is to put a 1% tax on construction, so that there are programs that are supposed to benefit housing and other things in the community. That also is put forth by Councilmember Parker, for Council President Clark, Maria Canones Sanchez, Mark Squilla, Kenyatta Johnson, Bobby Heenan, and Curtis Jones. So those are the names on it. The names on the one that is supposed to delay the disappearance of the tax abatement. That is Council President Clark, Councilmember Heenan, and Councilwoman Parker, who is my councilwoman. And I'm not in agreement with it, because it's not fair to the people who have to pay all of their taxes. Construction still is going on. It's not like the construction industry is dead in Philadelphia. I'm really upset that they would try to do this just a few days before the presidential election, when everybody's kind of looking the other way, Jay.
And right after their own election, their own reelection. If they had done this flip-flop before their reelection, they just got reelected last year, it might have been a different story. And we were sold this bill of goods about all the new liberals coming on the city council. We've got this liberal. We've got that one from a new political party. We've got a new direction. No, we don't. We're still bowing down to developers' money. And that's all this is about. Flipping black neighborhoods and making them white. And the money leaves the neighborhood because the developer may live in South Jersey, may live in Chestnut Hill, may live in Society Hill. But when they dangle $5, $10, $15, $20,000 in front of a district council person who needs maybe a couple $100,000 to run for re-election, they'll take it and they'll cooperate. Politicians say, when I take a donation, it's just about, that means I'll just take their calls. That just means I give them access. No, you give. You don't just give them access, because if you don't do what you're told to do, and remember, money doesn't talk, it swears. If you don't do what you're told to do, you're not going to get any more money. You're going to be a one-term council person. You're going to be collecting your pension. And they know it. That's why they had that false courage a little while ago to repeal it, but then they came to their senses. Money just is power in this town, and the developers run this town. And the 1% tax, who's going to pay that? And again, and you said it, you made my heart proud when you said that these programs are nonsense. They're going to be run in many ways against our interest by folks who really don't want us in town. The affordable homes used to have to make $40,000 or $50,000 to get what they call an affordable home. Now you can make up to $125,000 in your household and get an affordable home. So all of this stuff supports white people. And so that 1% tax that they want to impose, that stabs us in the back too, because it will only be used to help the gentrification of Philadelphia.
That's Jay McCalla. He held senior positions in both the Rendell and Street administrations, a veteran political consultant. McCalla's work has been published in the Philadelphia Inquirer, Philadelphia Magazine, and the Chestnut Hill Local. He brings deep knowledge to politics and does so from an African-American perspective. Jay, thanks so much. Stay strong, brother. All right, man. We're going to go to break. On the other side, we are going to talk to you. 215-634-8065. I'm Solomon Jones. We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Dr. Heidi Seropoulos. If you're on Medicare, You should know that many Independence Blue Cross Medicare Advantage plans have a $0 copay for primary care physician visits and telemedicine medical doctor visits. All our plans have $0 in-network COVID-19 testing and treatment and the largest network of doctors and hospitals in our area.
Call 833-848-0762 today. TTY-TDD 711. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Or visit us online at ibxmedicare.com/doctors. Independence Blue Cross offers Medicare Advantage plans with a Medicare contract. Enrollment in Independence Medicare Advantage plans depends upon contract renewal. Independence Blue Cross offers products through its subsidiaries Independence Hospital Indemnity Plan, Keystone Health Plan East, and QCC Insurance Company, independent licensees of the Blue Cross and Blue Shield Association.
Hello, my name is Hassan Bennett. I did 13 years in prison for a crime I didn't commit. Over-policing in our community has led to over 100 casualties like mine. It's time we, the people, take control of our future. And we do this on November 3rd by voting to make communities safer and the system fairer.
Paid for by Black Vote PA, which is responsible for the content of this advertising. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. www.theelectionisnow.com.
Hey, Mama, you calling me for a change? You and Daddy all right?
We're fine. Can't your mama call and check on her babies and get a little advice?
You know you can. What do you need help with?
Well, despite COVID-19, you know I'm not letting anything stop your father and I from voting this year. But we're here in Pennsylvania. Should we go to our precinct as usual? What's the best way?
You mean I get to be Mama for a minute? All you have to do is go to aarp.org/election 2020.
That's my favorite site, and they have a lot of information about the pandemic.
You only text me the website 3 times, but they have all the reliable, up-to-date voting information for voters 50 plus in every state. Want me to text it to you?
Girl, I know. It's aarp.org/election 2020.
Well, me being your mama didn't last long.
That's 'cause I'll always be your mama.
Yes, ma'am.
Looking for employment? JD's Auto Body and Painting is hiring. They have 2 positions if you have 5 years experience in auto body and framework. Also seeking painter with 5 years experience. And if you have experience as an A or B assembler, JD's Auto Body can be the place for you. Please call JD's Auto Body at 215-848-5949 or email JD's Auto Body and Painting at comcast.net.
Lifting every voice
till earth and heaven ring.
This is WURD Radio, 96.1 FM and 900 AM WURD Philadelphia.
Black Talk Media.
You're waking up
with WURD.
Hosted by Solomon Jones.
Good morning.
Right now on WURD Radio,
96.1 FM
and 900 AM WURD.
Good morning. This is Solomon Jones on 900 AM, 96.1 FM, WURD. I want to welcome you back to Wake Up with WURD, and we're taking your calls at 215-634-8065. That is 215-634-8065. We're talking about a number of things this morning, including tonight's debate that is going to be taking place tonight between President Donald Trump and former Vice President Joe Biden. It's the last debate, so get your popcorn ready because it's going to be crazy. They will be turning the mics off for 2-minute opening statements for each candidate. But beyond that, I don't know that they're going to be doing it. So there's going to be some craziness afoot tonight. I want to hear from you about that. Of course, President Obama was here yesterday stumping for Joe Biden. And the question is, what do you miss from the Obama era? Let us know. Give us a call, 215-634-8065. That is 215-634-8065. Also, want to talk about what is happening on Zoom, right? We're doing all these Zoom calls now. I think some people, you know, they think that when they're meeting, they're working. Like it's not. No, it's not. You know, I hate meetings. I go. You know, I do what I got to do, but I'm not a meeting person. But Zoom has made it so that you are in this meeting, you're at your house, and people can see you. And so Jeffrey Toobin, who's a CNN commentator, also a writer for The New Yorker, exposed himself during a meeting on Zoom, which brings me to the question, what are some of the things you should never do on Zoom? I want to hear from you. Give us a call, 215-634-8065. That is 215-634-8065. Constance from West Oak Lane is on line 1. Go ahead, Constance.
Good morning, Solomon. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. It's great to hear you. Listen, my call is regarding the songs. I play Ball of Confusion every day by Temptations, and there's 2 lines in there. Vote for me and I'll set you free. That sounds like Trump all day. And the other line was the state of pills that are at an all-time high. Young folks walking around with their heads in the sky. What came out yesterday, that pharma, OxyContin.
Yeah. I hear you, and I want to thank you so much for that. Song lyrics that describe what's going on right now. I'm interested to know what you guys think, because there are so many songs that really can describe exactly what's going on right now. Let's go to Greg from East Falls on line 2. Go ahead, Greg.
How you doing there?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm okay.
I can hardly hear you.
Can you hear me now?
A little bit better. Go ahead.
You asked, you got Jay started. You asked the question, and he gave it to you. I love Jay McCullough's comment. He was so on fire this morning about the tax abatement, and it really highlighted everything that's going on or everything that's wrong about this city. I have for a long time, when I learned that council has prerogative, then when we see, because what's happening is we're not even going to be, most of us aren't even going to be able to afford living in this city, all over the city. And I would like somebody, really, the way the questioning went today between what Jay's commentary is, ask Clark, ask Sherelle Parker, ask Heenan, and all of those that are in favor of that delay, the way that was asked today, I would love it to be asked without any regard to their honorary positions and all of those stuff. This is real stuff. And I always appreciate Jay, but I'm telling you, truth comes in degrees, and that was one of the most profound. I pulled over, Solomon. I pulled over, and I'm driving, man. This is really serious. And don't tell me about these black council people, because in spite of that, everything is going on. So it tells me all I need to know. Thank you.
Thank you for your call this morning on WURD. Let's go to Diane from South Philly on line 3. Go ahead, Diane.
Solomon, the bacon is cooking in the pan this morning. Oh, my goodness. So many comments and opinions and listen, let me make it real brief. You and Jay, like I told George, you two are like chicken and potato salad. You go perfect together. You bring out the questions, the thoughts, and it's almost like, I didn't know that. They knew about this tax abatement. Come on. They knew what they were doing. Again, like I asked yesterday, why questions like this are not put on the ballot so us, the taxpayer, can vote on them? I can't understand that. And when it comes to Obama, listen, you know your wife is your helpmeet. Well, Michelle was Obama's, okay? What she brought to the leadership of health for our children all over the world. Listen, that girl that's in there right now, the president's wife, she doesn't even appear to do anything. She's just a sidekick. She's just there as a parent. That's all about. That's like an arranged marriage. But Michelle brought positivity to to the country for starving children. And then it makes me think about those Mexican kids that don't even know where their parents are. And some of the parents that know where they are don't want to take the chance and try to get them. Obama never did anything like that. That is such, we're in so much hard times. And then the song that we need, Love is in Need for Love Today.
Yeah.
That's the song.
Yeah, Stevie Wonder.
Yes, and then here's another song from the movie Crooklyn. People in search of a life. Right now, our lives are being tampered with. So we need to find the search of our lives again. Ooh, Solomon, you put the black icing on the cake every time.
All right.
Thank
All
you.
right. I want to thank you so much for your call this morning on WURD. I got to say this. I'm really disappointed. I'm disappointed that, the folks who represent us, would try to take back a victory for the taxpayers of Philadelphia by delaying for 3 years this tax abatement and doing it now in the middle of an election just a year after that legislation was put in place. I'm disappointed. I am because come on, man. It doesn't benefit black people. Rebecca Reinhardt is the city controller. She did a study on the tax abatement. And what she found is that the vast majority of those who receive the tax abatement live in Center City or live in the gentrifying communities directly surrounding it. We got to do better than this, man. We got to do better than this. So I want to hear from you. Give me a call, 215-634-8065. That is 215-634-8065. That is the number that you can call to get in on the conversation right here at WURD Radio. It's a gift to the building trades who freeze black people out, right? It's a gift to the developers who are gentrifying us out. And it's a gift to the gentrifiers who can afford that new construction that is required in order for you to get that tax abatement. And a 1% construction tax, right, which is meant to appease the people, right? Let's put that in as companion legislation. But again, the people who are going to run those programs, they don't look like us. They not, it's, man, oh, man, oh, man. 215-634-8065. That is 215-634-8065. Lamar from Camden is on line one. Go ahead, Lamar.
Good morning, Solomon.
Good morning.
I hope you're feeling better.
I do.
I missed you last week. I ain't gonna lie. But they had some good hosts. Tried their best. But in regards to the tax abatement, I never understand why cities who claim that they need such funding for city services are giving away money.
How about that? I don't understand it either. But then again, I do.
Yeah, I do. I mean, I'm being cynical about the situation. We know what it's really about. And here's the thing about it is, and Jay put it in a very good point. I don't live in your city, but I would have no issue with the fact that you make grandma mom's, taxes be frozen the same rate that you make those condos frozen for those 10 years in that area. But what happens is grandma and her husband at the time scripted and saved and did their mortgage. Now they're being taxed out because of a condo that's sitting right next to them. It's going to make their taxes go up. This is the kind of stuff you sit there and say, people need to go. Forget all the little jobs you may have hooked up with something. You're going to hear them. When it comes to election time, re-election time, you're going to hear people call on your station and going to try to plead for them. But they do all this stuff underhand after they promised that they were going to get rid of the tax abatement. Again, we know where the money goes at. And again, people, that kind of question I feel as though should be voted on by Philadelphians rather not to get rid of the tax abatement. Because it's clearly a conflict of interest for these council people because of the way their donations are being taken care of by developers. And in regards to Trump, yeah, he's going to act a fool today. That's why I'm not even going to watch it tonight, because he's going to act a fool. And lastly, I want to say that just vote. Just vote. You know, we got to get this man out of here. All right. Thank you, Solomon, for all the information you provide.
Okay, you're quite welcome, and I want to thank you so much for your call this morning on WURD Radio. If you want to get in, it's 215-634-8065. Let's go to Thelma from New Jersey on line 2.
Yes, hi.
Hi.
Solomon, how are you?
Good, how are you?
I just heard about you Monday. When I turned the radio on, I almost fell out. I said, oh, my God. I don't know. I guess Kuwait is sick, too. I don't know for sure what's going on over there, but, you know, I'm very concerned about all of you, and I love all of you, and I'm hoping that you get better and that, you know, we fight this virus together, and we're going to start a whole new United States of America, because right now it's not working for us. And everything that you say, and if you've contributed for all these years, you know, it's just right on target. And your life is so valuable. It's even more valuable than this election, because you spread the word, you get out, you do the work, and you're not afraid. So, you know, God is going to be with you, and I thank you so much for all that you've done, and keep your immune system going. And we're going to pray that we get over this, and we're going to go out and we're going to fight this Trump man. And I hope Biden has an ace card in his pocket, and I can give him one right now. And I would say just turn all the lights out.
Turn all the lights out.
Yeah, just don't even have it. Don't get this man. I would have an ace card. I mean, besides shooting it out, give each of them a gun, or whoever stands up last, you know. I mean, they can do that like they used to do, you know, when they had, you know, conflicts before, you know, just shoot it out, because this is what it's coming
What?
down to. Yeah, it's coming down. It's really coming down.
No, we ain't going to do all that. We're going to let them have their debate.
No, we're not going to do that, but I'm just saying that Biden, that we have got to be more proactive instead of reactive. We're supposed to have things out there just like he's got out there, like double up, you know? I mean, we're just waiting to be hit, and I'm not waiting. I'm not going to do it. But look, we all going to have to get out there and wear signs, you know, from here on out, you know, to vote. If we can't, one person can make a difference. If we can't do anything else, we can just get a piece of paper, make it as big as you can, get like a safety pin, put it on, or whatever, or tape, and put it on your shirt and just say, you know, vote. You know, your life is, you know, in jeopardy, because surely to goodness, I mean, you're an example. You know, you've got this virus, and I am very upset about this whole situation, about this president and why.
All right, I want to thank you for your call this morning on WRD. So, you know, I'm going to be all right. And yes, I have the virus, right? But I am recovering and recovering well, and I'm grateful for that, because a lot of people aren't. A lot of people have lost their lives, and it's a very serious thing, and especially in our community. But I'm going to be all right. It's one of the reasons why I shared that with all of you, is that I just need you to know that this too shall pass, right? That we are going to be all right, but that we have to share truth, and we have to understand that there are going to be some things that we're going to have to go through, but we will never stop fighting. We will never stop pushing. We will never stop surviving and thriving in this place that we built, despite everything that is put in our way to try to stop us. So we are going to go to break, and on the other side, we are going to talk with Pete Souza. He is the former White House photographer who has a fantastic documentary out called The Way I See It, based on his book. And we're going to talk with him on the other side. I'm Solomon Jones. We'll be right back.
4 years ago, Donald Trump asked Black America a simple question. Asked us, what do you have to lose?
What do you have to lose?
Since then, we've seen a rise in racial violence and white supremacy, an increase in poverty.
You're living in poverty. Your schools are no good. You have no jobs.
While giving tax cuts to the rich. 200,000 dead from COVID, 1 in 5 are Black. We've lost our jobs, our businesses, our dignity, and even our lives. And he, Trump, dares to ask, what the hell do you have to lose?
What the hell do you have to lose?
Well, Mr. President, damn near everything. After 4 years of Trump, ask yourself, Black America, are you better off? Vote for change.
I'm Joe Biden, candidate for president, and I approve this message.
Paid for by Biden for president.
Dietz & Watson has been making premium meats and artisan cheeses for over 80 years. And when it comes to stacking sandwiches and party platters, they've got something for everyone in the family, like maple honey turkey breast, American cheese, buffalo chicken, and more. So get to your local deli and taste 4 generations of family recipes. With Dietz & Watson on the table, you'll have everyone coming back for seconds and thirds. Dietz & Watson, it's a family thing since 1939.
Hello, I'm former Mayor John Street.
And I'm Mayor Street's son, Senator Sharif Street.
You know, I've been out here fighting for what's right for a long, long time, but I can't think of an election more important than the one that's happening right now.
We all know we have to vote for Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, but we also have a couple of hometown heroes that we need to elect.
Nina Ahmad served as the City of Philadelphia Deputy Mayor, and it will be a welcome change to have a strong woman of color go to Harrisburg to fight for all of us.
We also have working class hero John Kane running for state senate. He's a blue collar guy ready to fight for better paying jobs and accessible health care. I'd love to have John Kane join me in the state senate.
This election is just too important. So when you go out, vote for Joe and Kamala.
Don't forget to vote for Nina Ahmad for Auditor General and John Kane for state senator.
This message is paid for by the Friends of Sharif Street.
COVID-19 impacted a lot of things this year, including regular vaccination appointments. Vaccines help protect you and everyone around you, especially during flu season. Schedule an appointment with your healthcare provider today to make sure you and your children are vaccinated. Vaccines keep us safe, and they work. Skip the flu this year. Get your vaccination today. Let's stay protected together. For more information, visit health.pa.gov, paid for with Pennsylvania taxpayer dollars.
Tune in every Saturday at 4 p.m. for the Did You Know Show with host Bryant Green, right here on WURD 96.1 FM and 900 AM.
It's Wake Up with Word, hosted by Solomon Jones, right now on WURD Radio,
96.1 FM
and 900 AM WURD.
Good morning. This is Solomon Jones on 900 AM, 96.1 FM, WURD, and I want to welcome you back to Wake Up with Word. We're joined now by Pete Souza. He's a best-selling author, speaker, and freelance photographer. He's also a professor emeritus of visual communication at Ohio University. He was chief official White House photographer for President Obama and director of the White House photo offices. Good morning, Mr. Souza. How are you?
Good morning, Solomon. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, so tell us about the way I see it. What made you put these photos into first a book?
Well, I think when I left the White House, I really wanted to show people what I saw for the 8 years of the Obama administration. Not just the historical moments, but really what Barack Obama was like as a human being. And I think that my photographs behind the scenes, just the way he interacts with other people, I think the photographs taken together really give people an insight as to what kind of a person he was.
Now, you also worked under the Reagan administration. Of course, Ronald Reagan, very charismatic president, different politically than Obama, different in many ways than Obama. What did you see by comparison after working in the Reagan administration?
Well, I mean, it was an interesting time in my life. I was in my 20s, just basically kind of starting out my career, and I was afforded this opportunity to work alongside his chief photographer. I was not a fan necessarily of Reagan's policies, but I thought, okay, here's a chance for me to document a presidency for history. And so I ended up doing that. I think that, you know, one thing that people do is they caricaturize a president, and when you're the White House photographer, you really get to know the president as a human being. So I got to know Reagan, just like what he was like as a person. And so even though that they disagreed with some of the things he was doing, you know, I came to admire him just as a human being. He was just a decent person.
And so, what were some of the things that stood out for you in photographing Obama? Some of the things that you saw through the lens of the camera that you know, many of us just did not get a chance to see.
Well, you know, I think, you know, to use Michelle Obama's quote, the presidency doesn't change who you are, it reveals who you are. And I think the moments that I saw behind the scenes just revealed what kind of a human being he was. And I you know, he has inherently in his body compassion and empathy, you know, the kind of basic human qualities that we're missing today, you know, with the president today. And I think, you know, just especially the way he interacted with other people, whether it was his family or little kids or his aides or world leaders, our allies, our adversaries, just, you know, you really get to see what kind of a person is as he interacts with people from all walks of life.
And so, you know, Obama, of course, meant a lot to the black community as president. He's the first black president. How did that play out in the pictures that you took? His importance to the black community.
Sure. Look, I'm a white guy. I'm of Portuguese descent. But you know, I was very cognizant of the fact that he was the first African American president. It wasn't like an everyday thought. You know, my everyday thought was I'm photographing the president of the United States. But when there are certain instances, if he's interacting with young African-American kids, for instance, it's very much in my mind what that interaction means. When we did an event at the Henry Ford Museum outside of Detroit. When he walked onto the Rosa Parks bus and sat in one of the back seats of that bus and looked out the window, obviously the symbolism of that is forefront in my mind. So it would be these little moments that would happen where I was very aware of him being the first African-American president.
So one of the famous pictures, and it's a picture, I don't know, it's just moving to me, of the president bending down so this little black boy could touch his hair. How did that picture come about?
Yeah, that little kid's name is Jacob Philadelphia, and his dad had worked for the National Security Staff. He was a non-political appointee, so he had also worked in the Bush administration. And when it was time for him to leave, President Obama invited the family into the Oval Office for, you know, just a picture standing in front of the desk. And Jacob asked the president, or it's more of a statement, that his friends had told him that his haircut was just like the president. And that's when President Obama bent over and said, "Go ahead and touch my head." And you see the picture is of Jacob actually touching his head to see if it feels You know, and to me, that picture resonated so much, especially with the African American community, because here you got this 5-year-old African American kid touching the head of the President of the United States that looks like him, and what that must have meant to so many young kids across the country to see that.
And so I know you got to see the family up close and got to see them a lot. What are some of the funny stories that you remember about being in the White House and seeing Barack and Michelle and their children up close?
Yeah, I mean, the one day that probably one of my favorite days at the White House was I think it was in early 2010. We had a huge snowstorm in D.C. Probably Philly had the same snowstorm, and I actually slept in my office the night of the storm, and the next morning, which was the Saturday, President Obama and the girls came out, and they were running around the 18 acres of the White House for, I don't know, an hour and a half, and I was tagging along with them, making all these pictures. And when you look at the pictures, the funny thing to me is it's hard to tell who's having more fun, the girls or President Obama, you know, because he's just being a dad in that moment.
Yeah, I can relate to that. I can relate to that. You know, and it's funny. I think that you got a chance to kind of see this humanity in the president, and you know, these just human moments, these human interactions that all of us have. What did you learn about the presidency and the potential of it from the access that you had to President Obama?
I guess I learned that if you don't have empathy, if you can't put your shoes in other people the way, you know, they go about their business, then you have no business being president. You know, that's one. Two, I think that you have to be able to communicate in an effective way to the American people. And when I say, I mean the words that come out of the president's mouth really do matter. And he was very careful in what he was saying when he spoke to the American people. You know, and it's the kind of thing that we just do not see today, where, you know, we just see this rambling, incoherent tweets from the current president. And I think, you know, just listening to Barack Obama's speech last night in Philadelphia, you sort of like, oh man, we really miss somebody who makes sense.
We're talking with Pete Souza. He is the former official White House photographer, worked in the Reagan administration as well as the Obama administration, and took some of the iconic pictures that we now see of President Barack Obama during his time in office. And so now that's going to be a documentary. What do you hope people get out of this documentary, the way I see it?
Yeah, much the same thing that we've been talking about, Solomon. I mean, I guess first I would say I think it really demonstrates the power of the still photograph. Two, I think it gives a window into what the job of the chief official White House photographer should be, what it was like for me. And then lastly, I want people to think about what kind of a person do we want representing us at the highest level of the government? What kind of a human being do we want sitting in the Oval Office? And I just would ask people to, as they're watching this film, to be thinking about that.
So, you know, as we've seen the difference between the Barack Obama presidency and how he approached it, and Donald Trump and how he has approached it, you got to see Barack Obama up close. What have you taken away from what you've seen over these last 4 years?
Well, I think what I've taken away is who's in the Oval Office really does matter. It matters that we have someone who is competent, that believes in facts, that believes in science, that listens to his advisors, that reads intelligence reports. You know, these are all things we're missing today. And it's you know, I think for those of us that, especially those of us that worked in the Obama administration, it's really hard to wake up every morning and see the way Trump is denigrating the office of the presidency, the way he behaves, the way he, you know, constantly lies and you know, thinks about himself and not us. Because ultimately, the president is the president is supposed to be representing all Americans, not just his diehard supporters. And you know, and we now have a president who really only cares about himself and his ratings. But you know, ultimately, that's all he cares about.
All right. So we're talking with Pete Souza. He is a best-selling author, speaker, and freelance photographer. He was the chief official White House photographer for President Obama and the director of the White House photo office. He's got a new documentary coming out called The Way I See It. You got to know the president fairly well and really got to have a personal relationship with him. He officiated your wedding. What was that like?
That was kind of it was an odd you know, place to be in. You know, just I was a little uncomfortable just you know, having the President of the United States in the Rose Garden, you know, marrying my wife and I, and you know, especially because I was not able to be taking pictures. But so I sort of, I think part of it was here's this event taking place in the Rose Garden, and I'm part of the scene instead of like being in the background taking pictures. So it was a little discomforting, to be honest with you.
So having had such a close relationship with him, what did you learn from him? How did he impact you?
Yeah, I mean, I think in many ways, again, you know, the kind of things that we've been talking about, it is, you know, he's just a decent person, Barack Obama, and he is empathetic to the core. I mean, it's not surprising that one of his first jobs was as a community organizer, because he cares about people at the you know, the gut level of you know, the community, and I think he's able to identify his policies to individual people that he had met along the way of his life. He's also, I would say, probably a couple things that people don't realize about him is, A, he's the most competitive person I've ever met, and B, he has a much better sense of humor than people realize, I think.
Okay. Well, it's been a real pleasure speaking with you. That's Pete Souza. He is a best-selling author, speaker, freelance photographer. He was the chief official White House photographer for President Obama and director of the White House photo office. His new documentary, The Way I See It, is going to be available to stream on Peacock and on demand tomorrow. It already aired on MSNBC over this past weekend, so make sure that you catch it. It is extremely moving. Pete Souza, thank you so much for joining us this morning on WURD.
Solomon, thank you so much for having me on, and I please implore all your listeners to do their civic duty and get out and vote.
That's right. All right. Will do. Will do. You heard it from the man himself. Get out and vote. We are going to go to break. On the other side, it is What's Trending right here on WURD.
The time is now to put an end to the chronic incompetence of Donald Trump and his League of Liars. Donald Trump makes a mockery of the institution of the presidency. He's polarized our country, and his dangerous policies must not continue. Joe Biden has the character, empathy, and experience to lead us through these challenging times. He helped lead the nation out of the 2008 financial crisis into the longest period of economic growth in our history, and he can do it again. As president, he will heal divisions and unite us around the shared values of justice. He'll create opportunities for quality education and good-paying jobs, and he'll build on the Affordable Care Act, not tear it down. While Donald Trump thinks coronavirus and climate change are a hoax, Joe Biden already has a coronavirus recovery plan and a strategy to create more jobs while also tackling the climate crisis. Vote for a president who will stand on the right side of history. Vote for Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. Paid for by Black PAC and Priorities USA Action. BlackPAC.com and PrioritiesUSAAction.org, which are responsible for the content of this advertising. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee.
Reverend Tyler, with November 3rd around the corner, do you know how you'll be voting this year?
Dr. Callahan, I requested my mail-in ballot, and I'm returning it the day it comes in the mail.
That's perfect, because we can't leave anything to chance this year.
Already received your mail-in ballot? You're just a few simple steps away from turning your mailbox into a ballot box. Here's how. After selecting your candidates, place your marked ballot into the small secrecy envelope and seal it. It's a 2-envelope process, so then you'll place the small secrecy envelope into the larger one. Make sure to seal that one too. Sign and date it, and then it's as simple as dropping it in your mailbox, no postage necessary, or returning it to your county election office. And if you still want to sign up to vote by mail or find out where to drop off your mail-in ballot, visit votespa.com.
I'm not waiting until November 3rd. I'm returning my mail-in ballot the day it comes in the mail.
Or you can return your ballot to your county election office.
I've got my plan. Make your plan to vote today.
Paid for by Power Interfaith.
The pandemic is not only putting everyone's health at risk, it's also impacted our jobs and retirement security. And it's disproportionately affecting African Americans, especially those 50+. That's why AARP Pennsylvania is fighting for your voice to be heard. If you haven't voted yet, now is the time to learn about your voting options and cast your ballot. We're working to make sure you can vote safely, whether you choose to vote from home or in person. And if you choose to vote by mail, make sure you return your ballot using both envelopes. Your ballot goes in the smaller envelope for secrecy, and that goes into the larger envelope for mailing. Also, don't forget to sign the voter declaration on the back. Your voice matters. Make sure it's heard. Go to aarp.org/PA votes to learn about your voting options and how to vote safely this election. Visit aarp.org/PA votes today. Paid for by AARP.
Tune in this Saturday from 5 to 6 p.m. for the Islam Today show with a perspective on moral guidance and Islamic principles and values.
Back by popular demand.
It's Wake Up with Word, hosted by Solomon Jones. Right now on WURD Radio.
96.1 FM.
And 900 AM WURD.
Circuits are busy.
Here's what's trending.
Yo, that's crazy.
On Wake Up with Word.
A last-ditch attempt to fix Pennsylvania's ailing COVID-19 rent relief program hit a wall on Wednesday after Senate Republican leadership did not advance legislation, making it likely many landlords and families on the financial brink will not get the aid they desperately need. The failure came as a surprise even to House Republicans, who joined with Democrats in unanimous support of a bill passed Monday. Number two, the attorneys appointed by a federal judge to identify the families of migrants who are separated at the U.S. border say that they've been unable to find the parents of 545 children. The ACLU attorneys are asserting that 2/3 of the parents of those children have already been deported to Central America. It's part of the zero tolerance policy enacted by President Donald Trump, which separated thousands of families. Story number 3, with the Dallas Cowboys' once promising season crumbling, tension in the team's locker room appears to be building. Reports say that some players on the team feel like the coaching staff is totally unprepared and just aren't good at their jobs. Some players went so far as to say the coaching staff don't teach and they don't have any sense of adjusting on the fly. And that is what's trending right here on WURD Radio. You know, the football season is crazy because the Eagles have been just really decimated by injuries, especially along the offensive line. And if they don't get that straight, they're going to get their quarterbacks, both of them, killed. You know what I mean? So hopefully they straighten that out because the trade deadline is coming. But even the Dallas Cowboys, who really have a lot more talent than the Eagles, they're imploding too. And with Dak Prescott out with that gruesome injury to his foot, it's not looking good for them either. So we'll see what happens. But I want to hear from you. Give us a call, 215-634-8065. That is 215-634-8065. Just had a great conversation with Pete Souza, whose documentary, The Way I See It, is going to be available on Peacock streaming tomorrow. It already aired on MSNBC, and I encourage you to check it out. And, of course, he is encouraging you to vote. So I want to hear from you. Give us a call, 215-634-8065. Hariah from Ardmore is on line 1. Go ahead, Hariah.
Good morning, Solomon. Man,
good morning.
They need to have you as the moderator of those debates because the way you do that thing, thank you for your call. I mean, my God, look, that beats the way my kids hang up on me on a cell phone. You know, wait a minute. I don't know. You got teenagers, right? And
I do.
Talking and getting your thing across, and you don't even know that they done hung up on you, you know? But the way you swing that thing, you be like, thank you for your call. I want to go.
Yeah, that's how I do it. Oh, man. All right, Hariah, thank you so much for your call. Let's go to Renee from West Oak Lane on line 2. Go ahead, Renee.
Hey, good morning, Solomon.
Good morning.
I just wanted this song, put the words to your song, since you said words, are we really happy here with this lonely game we play? Looking for words to say. We're searching but not finding, understanding anywhere because we lost in the masquerade. Because right now, this country is very lost with this man leaking and his administration. We do need to count on our politicians, but most of all, we need to count on ourselves and each other. And please go to the satellite place today and vote this man out in his administration.
I hear you. Thank you, Renee. We appreciate your call. Let's go to Mike from Winfield on line 3. Go ahead, Mike.
Hey, Solomon, good morning to you.
Good morning.
I just really appreciate what you were talking about, the tax abatement. I think something that needs to be talked about is since the pandemic has started, we have roughly 8,000 New Yorkers who have moved into Philadelphia, and we have to look at ourselves as how we are located regionally and nationally as well as other cities. Take a look at San Francisco and Oakland, the challenges that they're having with housing. That same thing is coming here to Philadelphia. People aren't prepared and sort of reading the tea leaves and seeing how movement is happening. New Yorkers find Philadelphia to be exceptionally invaluable as far as its location to the city, but also its affordability. People do the Questlove transition all the time, going from Philadelphia to New York to work. So we need to understand what that represents as well.
I want to thank you so much for your call this morning on WURD. You're absolutely right. Let's go to Rashida from Southwest on line 4. Go ahead, Rashida.
Good morning, beautiful. Good morning, beautiful people of Philadelphia. Can you hear me, Solomon?
I can.
Okay, great. I wanted to say what I missed about the Obama administration. I missed the respect as a world leader. Most of the world liked and respected the Obama administration. I miss the tranquility. I miss the truth. I miss the interaction of humanity, not seeing all those beautiful faces of different hues. The song for now is I Got the Power. In reference to tonight's debate, all roads are leading to Pennsylvania. We have a Pennsylvania native, so it's so important. Go and vote. Have a great day.
All right. I want to thank you so much for your call this morning on WURD Radio. Give us a call, 215-634-8065. That is 215-634-8065. That is the number that you can call to get in on the conversation right here on WURD Radio. You know, I think you know, song lyrics say a lot, man. And that's why I asked about song lyrics this morning. Lyrics that can kind of explain, you know, what's going on now. And one of the songs that comes to mind for me is Stevie Wonder's song. It's called You Ain't Done Nothing, right? It starts, we are amazed but not amused by all the things you say that you'll do, though much concerned but not involved with decisions that are made by you. But we're sick and tired of hearing your song, telling you how you're going to change right from wrong, because if you really want to hear our views, you haven't done nothing. You know, and it just, that's one of those things, man, that's really, it reminds me of Trump, really, talking about how much he's done for the black community. And you know, I've done more than black people than anybody since Lincoln. Like, what, man? Please shut up. 215-634-8065. Let's go to AWA from West Philly on line 1. Go ahead.
Solomon.
Yes.
How's it going, man? Listen,
Good.
I appreciate everything that you're doing, but one of the things that I say in regards to this is that we have to hold the line here in Philly, because if we hold the line, if we stick together, he can't get past us. And
that's true.
Philadelphia is Pennsylvania. If you want to make a shirt about that one, make a shirt about that one. Philly is PA. And you see, Obama came here. And one of the things I want to say is this, is that even though this isn't a song, this may be a motivator for us. Even though things are looking bad, fly, Eagles, fly. A victory, fight, fight, fight. We have to fight.
Yeah, we do.
We have to fight, and we're going to win.
I know that's right. I want to thank you for your call this morning on WURD. Let's go to Miss Madeline from Overbrook on line 2. Go ahead, Miss Madeline.
Thank you, sir. And I didn't say to you yesterday morning that I'm glad you're up and about again, and I'm waiting for the Queen to come back, too. Y'all did a wonderful job. Okay,
Thank
that's
you.
one. Number one is Obama. I say I could just ditto all the positive things that have been said about him. And that picture, I have a thing of pictures that the little boy is in it with the hair thing. I mean, it just touched my heart. And now that he's putting it together, it's going to be I think it'd be good for all of us. Do you think, Solomon, that if we even talk to Obama about being a United States senator, because, see, you could be the senator till you pass, and we need people who can maneuver our stuff. I thought I had a man lined up out of Philly to run for Toomey's seat, and he backed up, but he's got to be a person with a well-rounded piece and can take a look and know where the pieces fall together. But number one is he must love our people, or she must love our people. I'm looking for a mayor and a United States senator. We can get 2 from about 5 or 6 good states that can hold on and do what we need done. Because the things, you get a change, and then a fool comes along who just sees is that we have too much. That's what it is. They think we have too much. As hard as we have worked and did everything for this country, it's unbelievable of how they go pause for a minute, half a minute, and then they gather up 50,000 new people who made money, and when they make money, they don't think we should have none. It's crazy. And what they're doing to us see in Philly. I am just appalled this morning. If I could get a hold of Curtis Jones, I would get a whipping board and put him across my knee and get 2 or 3 other people, because this makes no sense at all. I gave up the judge sitting at a seat, sitting as a judge in the nuisance court, but I had to give it up when I decided to do Curtis Jones instead of Charles Campbell. And I knew it was going to happen, because it has to happen. But I wanted from him that any time they went in the street to repair old pipes, that they took the whole street up and put all new pipes in for everybody. So this lady not taking the, they was charging us $8,000 and $10,000 when you had a sewer problem, and your line is on the other side of the street. It was horrible, and it didn't happen. I gave up for nothing, But so be it. So be it. We keep going. We keep going.
Yeah, we got to keep going. We absolutely do, and we got to hold folks accountable, man, because you know it really is. It has to be about the people and not about the powerful. I want to hear from you, but you know what? We are at the end of the show, so we got to go. I want to thank everybody who tuned in on today's show. I want to thank our guests, best-selling author and documentarian Pete Souza, former chief official White House photographer. Of course, his documentary, The Way I See It, is going to be available on Peacock on demand tomorrow. It already aired on MSNBC. I also want to thank political commentator Jay McCalla, and I want to thank all of you. And now, for producer Jordan Booth sitting in for Kawesa Mathis and everyone here at WURD, I am your host, Solomon Jones, saying stay tuned for Reality Check and City Council Live with Charles Ellison. And tune in tomorrow at 7 for more. Wake up with Word. Peace.